The fourth natural disaster, farming, Suching, funny, Su Mu, was a programmer before I passed away. On a late-night job, he traveled to a different world and became a sage of the Dumfries Empire. Perhaps due to work in my past life, exotic magic has become C+ code in my eyes. I can change the casting effect by tampering with magic code. Coincidentally, in a chaotic era, the Demon King led monsters to conquer the empire, leaving only 3 cities and the human race in danger. Fortunately, the Emperor sent me the scroll of ancient magic, allowing me to summon the brave to deal with the crisis. Since we need to summon the brave, why don't we shout a few more? When the summoning of warriors is combined with C+ to modify magic codes, a 100% realistic fantasy game gradually takes shape. You can experience life in a different world without using a mud truck, I'm just blowing it out. Elves, orcs, blood races. I am the one who aspires to gather all the race girl guides. When I was a child, I always wanted to wield my sword around the world. But when I grew up, I found that taking an AK was also possible. Magic, food defense. Looking at the brave warriors with various forms but not serious, the Demon King almost died suddenly in place. Isn't it possible to summon only one person? How come there are only brave warriors for all? This is different from what is recorded in the history of the Demon Clan. Keywords of the novel. As a programmer, one must also play games without pop-ups in a different world. As a programmer, one must also play games in a different world. Download the full text of the game. As a programmer, one must also play games in a different world. Read the latest chapters of the game. Chapter 1. The Demon King army has all reached their doorstep. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The Demon King army has all reached their doorstep. The cold winter has passed, and the spring breeze brushes against my face. Although spring cold occasionally invades, pedestrians on the road are already wearing armor. The vegetable stalls on the stone slab road are deserted, and the blacksmith shop on the street corner has broken through the threshold. The carriage loaded with refugees clattered incessantly, carrying them from the north of the city to continue fleeing towards the imperial capital. The adventurer guild in the south of the city has been deserted, and the city has also begun to become depressed. Gah! The silver aurora flashed past and accurately hit the red-eyed crow that had fallen on the branches of an old tree. Seeing its chest pierced through a thumb-sized hole, it immediately lost its center of gravity and fell from the tree. The scouts of the Demon King army have all flown to their doorstep. The gate of the mansion was open, and a young man emerged from it. He strode with a shooting star, his body agile yet steady, his face delicate, his eyes deep blue but with a mysterious color, wearing a noble cloth armor inlaid with gold thread, his face slightly tense. Su Mu came to the bottom of the tree, picked up the red-eyed crow on the ground and flipped through it in his hand. His nervous expression finally faded, and after taking a breath of relief, he said with relief, "It's okay. There is no silver ring on the claw, it is not a demon under the jurisdiction of the Demon King's army. However, this city will not live for a few days, and the Demon King's army will soon invade." With this in mind, a hint of concern rose on Su Mu's face. Every time the demon army launches a wave of Warcraft invasion, they will send demon scouts into the city, and the surrounding human towns have all fallen. The next stop is here. The residents in the city are all fleeing, but Su Mu cannot leave. Just because he was a wise man sent by the Dumfries Empire to station here, he was punished for defecting before the battle. Sigh, there were wolves in front and tigers in the back, and the current situation made Su Mu sigh. Just crossing over is a game of death. How can people survive? That's right, Su Mu is a traveler and has just traveled here recently. Mud truck, convenience store, overwork, god treat meals. Legend has it that when encountering one of these 4 situations, there is a high probability that one will travel to a different world. Su Mu was a programmer in his past life, and his hairstyle gradually became invincible at a young age. He used to work overtime at the company as usual to write code, but suddenly his eyes turned black. When he woke up again, he became a sage of the Dumfries Empire. It is not difficult to speculate that Su-mu experienced a situation of overwork and death. The reason why he is a sage is probably because he is not yet 30 years old, with the word big missing from the front. Although Su-mu died, his hair returned and he even gained a second life, which is not so difficult to accept. Not only that, Su-mu also found that magic was different in his eyes, perhaps due to his work in a previous life. In his eyes, the mysterious theory of magic was actually C+ code. He can even change the casting effect of magic by tampering with the magic source code. There is a powerful modified spell that allows Su-mu to conquer monsters with ease, and his level has been successfully raised to LV.15. As the youngest sage of the Dumfries Empire, his level upgrade was smooth and unimpeded, which quickly made him favored by the Emperor of Dumfries. The plot of becoming a god-level adventurer in the future, becoming a high-ranking official in the imperial capital, marrying an imperial princess, and easily reaching the pinnacle of life is just around the corner. As a result, the Demon King was resurrected at this time. She led a powerful army of Demon Kings to march north, constantly encroaching on the territory of the human race, causing them to retreat step by step, leaving only 3 cities to this day. The Saint Mare, which Su-mu was ordered to guard, was also in imminent danger and could be attacked by the demon army at any time. Even if Su-mu continues to seek low-level monsters to improve, it will only be a drop in the bucket and cannot be promoted to a level where he can handle it alone. Moreover, there are also leaders in the Demon King's army, who are all intelligent demons, not just fools who rely on instinctual actions. If Su-mu leaves the town alone to practice, there will definitely be high-level demons coming to assassinate him. He is only at level 15, and in the eyes of those advanced demon clans, he is like a chick that can be easily crushed and killed. In this situation, Su-mu also thought about directly joining the Demon King army. Instead of struggling in the human race, it would be better to dominate the demon tribe. He also heard that there were enchanting demons in the demon army, which made him yearn even more. Moreover, not only did Su-mu consider surrendering, but many adventurers had already accepted the demonic fall and become part of the demon army. Just however, some Imperial paladins also surrendered, but they were knocked off their heads by the demon clan's claws and died on the spot. Su-mu also secretly inquired, it is said that it was because of the job placement issue of the Holy Knight, and the demon clan did not accept the surrender of the Holy Knight. Even if the name of a job agency only contains the word saint, it is not acceptable. Upon hearing this news, Su-mu was greatly disappointed. He is the highest level profession among the wise and clergy. Cool Su-mu walked on the streets of the city, where there were no adventurers, only scattered Imperial paladins and ordinary residents covered in armor. If the Demon King army attacked at this moment, they would probably all flee and have no combat power at all. Following the central stone path, Su-mu arrived at the city wall of Saint Mare. Standing at the top of the wall, he gazed into the distance, only to see crows flying out of the silent forest. Su-mu knew in his heart that this seemingly peaceful forest actually contained countless crises. It is uncertain where there is the camp of the Demon King army. The city of Saint Mare has a protective magic, like a big pot clasped on the entire city, so the city is still relatively safe. But Su-mu dared not extend his head to look outside the protective magic, afraid that an extra glance would explode. Looking back at the city of Saint Mare, there was even more depression in front of us, with only the residents of Red Candle Street still in contact. They had long given up hope of survival and devoted their remaining funds to pleasure. Su-mu also wanted to go and have a look, but was stopped by the personal guard Shilu at the street corner, causing him to explode with anger. She doesn't care about the common people, let alone the lax military morale. She actually stopped Su-mu, a wise man, from going to the Red Candle District. You say it's outrageous. After patrolling around, Su-mu returned to the mansion. The walls and floors inside the house were covered in thin dust and had not been cleaned for half a month. The maid of the mansion also fled to the imperial capital under the guidance of Sumu, and only Shilu would come to clean his bedroom once a day. Returning to the bedroom and sitting at the table, Sumu reached out and swept in front of him, revealing the source code of the magic he had learned. It seems that there is no way to further strengthen it. Sumu once wanted to change his learned magic to a forbidden spell, and he had also successfully operated it, but the forbidden spell he changed cannot be used. Because releasing the forbidden spell requires a large amount of magic, Sumu's magical attributes cannot support it at all. It's getting harder and harder to become stronger. Sumu waved his hand and dug out all the magic he had learned, but no matter how he looked at it, he felt it was not satisfactory. It is difficult to survive the invasion of the demon army solely relying on these spells. Your Excellency, the Imperial capital has sent an urgent message. At this very moment, Hilu's voice rang out from outside the room. Come on in. Sumu waved his hand and closed the skill bar, then saw Shilu wearing customized armor pacing in. Phyllis Shirlu, LV.35 Paladin, was the personal guard of Sumu. Although it was armor, it did not cover Hilu's proud figure at all. On the contrary, the pair of eye-catching high-barred iron boots complemented her heroic demeanor. Shilu walked up to Sumu with a box in her hand and said, Sage, the Imperial capital has ordered you to preside over the summoning ceremony of the brave, gather your strength again to fight against the demon army, and suppress the demon king. Finally summoning the brave. Upon hearing this, Sumu quickly opened the wooden box and saw the scroll recording the summoning technique of the brave placed inside. Whenever the demon army invades the human territory, Dumfries will summon a hero to turn the tide. This warrior usually comes with his own golden finger, and his strength increases rapidly. He is also the legendary nemesis of the Demon King. The most crucial thing is that this hero was still called from Sumu's hometown. After picking up the summoning scroll, Sumu, who had just been excited, frowned slightly and said, This scroll will be delivered to me, which just means that Dumfries doesn't have any other wise men, right? Only 3 cities were left after being defeated by the Demon King's army, and all the wise ones were about to die. They then remembered to summon the brave. Are those people above all pig spirits? Shilu hung 3 black lines on her face, closed her eyes, and pretended not to hear these words. Immediately, Sumu unfolded the scroll, and the mystery of the summoning technique of the brave suddenly appeared before his eyes. It can be modified. Seeing the familiar source code, Sumu smiled slightly and said, No one has a rule that only one hero can be summoned, right? A bold idea had already surfaced in Sumu's mind earlier. How can summoning only one hero be enough? He wants to simulate Dumfries as a real different world game and summon the 4th scourge from his hometown of the earth. Let the imposter who is attacked by the commander's demon see who the real demon king is. Newcomers and new books, we ask for the support of all readers and masters. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Super Realistic Large-Scale MMORPG Game Magic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Super Realistic Large-Scale MMORPG Game Magic. All the principles of magic will be presented in code form before Sumu's eyes. Su Mugong had just traveled to the world of Dumfries, and during his first mission to suppress him, he encountered a group of high-level monsters. The thousand-eyed poison spider, they not only build poisonous spider web traps, but even their strong spider legs give them the ability to eject. Normally, the hidden trees wait for the adventurer to appear, and when launching an attack, it will fiercely pounce on its prey. The movements are extremely rapid, making it difficult for ordinary people to avoid. At that time, Sumu's first magic suddenly appeared in his mind. Junior Light Magic. White Light Breaks. Unlike the magic spells seen by others, what Sumu sees is a string of code, and he can tamper with it as he pleases. It is precisely because of this ability that Sumu possesses strong magic. His displayed talent even caught the Emperor's attention, which led to the dispatch of Su Mu to guard the city of Saint Mare. The protective magic of Saint Mare's city also came from the hands of Su Mu. If it weren't for this magical barrier, the demon army would probably have already invaded the city. Just how long the 8 magic stones that maintain the city protection magic can last, even Su Mu himself is not sure. When the magic power of the Philosopher's Stone is exhausted, the demon army outside the city will surely flock in. Fortunately, the summoning technique of the hero was acquired at this time. With Su Mu's technique of rewriting magic source code, combined with the summoning of warriors, he is fully capable of writing a large scale summoning magic. Namely, super realistic large scale MMORPG game magic. Looking back, Su Mu once founded the Warcraft Guild and built a large group of 100 people. As long as he connects to the Earth network through the Brave summoning technique, he can log into his account and promote it wildly. The group is full of high play, and the conversation is pleasant, making it difficult for people not to love it. While imagining the future, Su Mu also lowered his head and pondered, the question now is where to get a server. Server? Shilu asked inexplicably, is it a magic item? If wise men need it, they can apply to dispatch supplies nationwide. Now that Su Mu bears the heavy burden of summoning the brave and fighting against the Demon King, the Dumfries Empire will fully support him. Nationwide. Su Mu rolled his eyes and said, there are only 3 cities left. Can the Empire still obtain the Philosopher's Stone? When he first built the protective magic of Saint Mare, Su Mu buried the last 8 magic stones underground, let alone he now needs larger and thicker magic stones. Is there anything that can replace the magic stone? Something with abundant magical reserves that can restore magic at any time. After muttering a word, Su Mu himself covered his face and sighed. Even in a different world, there wouldn't be such convenient magic props, would there? Yes, there is. Shilu spoke leisurely and then pointed at Su Mu with a shocked look. Sage, you meet these conditions yourself. Sage, the highest level holy attribute magic wielder, with magic power dozens of times that of ordinary magic wielders, and can also restore magic at any time. Ale. Upon hearing this, Su Mu was immediately stunned and said, I can't even use the forbidden spell. Is there still a lot of magic in me? Shilu's expression was stiff. She didn't even bother to complain about the sage. If it is the most advanced powerful forbidden spell, it is a magic that can destroy heaven and earth. With just one shot, it can solve all the demon army, and even human civilization can be destroyed. Can the summoning of warriors be compared to it? Well, Su Mu thought for a moment, if I were to become a server, I could have gained a lot of benefits. A server, to be honest, is an intermediary for summoning warriors to a different world. If the Philosopher's Stone is abandoned and filled by Su Mu himself, all players will be summoned by Su Mu. Not only is it convenient for Su Mu to manage, but even when players kill monsters, they will provide Su Mu with 1% experience points as feedback. The more active the player is, the faster Su Mu upgrades. After upgrading, the magic attribute is improved, which can summon more players. It's a virtuous cycle, that's right. Thinking of the future where you can lead countless brave warriors and improve your level by staying in the mansion, wouldn't life become sweeter and sweeter? Okay. Su Mu tapped his left hand with his right hand, I'll be the server. Dumfries already exists, eliminating the effort of Su Mu's coding to build a virtual world and directly shifting his focus to game characters. Since we want to make it into a game, we must not let players face life-threatening situations. We must make it look like a leak, even if we cut it down, it can regrow. Thinking about this, Su Mu used himself and Shilu as templates to input human body data into the source code, and added random values such as height, physique, facial features, hair color, and hairstyle. The initial 4-dimensional attribute is 5 plus or minus 2 points, and the profession is adventurer. You can switch jobs according to different routes in the future. In addition, Sumu also wants to add powerful races such as elves, dwarves, and orcs to enhance players' combat abilities. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any reference panels around him, so it seems that these races will have to wait until later to open up. Shilu, go to the blacksmith's shop to purchase some leather armor, weapons, and houses abandoned by residents exiles, all of which will be expropriated. Upon receiving the order, Hilu went out to handle matters. Sumu also fell into a complete fantasy. Equipment, weapons, houses, territories, and some fictional titles. These will all become the driving force behind players 996. Sumu never imagined that in his lifetime, he would also have the opportunity to do a dog planning. After formulating some basic rules, Sumu began to try to connect to the Earth network. Lock the Earth and connect the worlds of both sides. Build a data bridge, hack into civilian networks, and you're done. Not long after, Sumu opened up a new light screen in front of him, and the computer desktop appeared on the light screen. Load the chat program, enter your account password, and click Login. Your login environment is abnormal. For account security, please provide a mobile verification code. Click to obtain verification code, grass. Sumu couldn't help but blurt a vulgar sentence. Did the late emperor start his own business while searching for the code in the middle path? This is a different world, where can I find my phone? And my SIM card hasn't traveled with me either. How about trying to hack into it? Gone, why am I hesitating? Sumu suddenly woke up and quickly typed the code with both hands. I'm right at Dumfries, come and sue me if you have the ability. Although it took some effort, Sumu successfully logged into the account and set it to invisible mode. Taking a slight glance at the unread message, it was all the boss urging the project. In his previous life, when his parents passed away early and Sumu had no other people who wanted to pass on the message, he double-clicked to open the Old Driver Communication Association group. This is the Warcraft Guild communication group created by Sumu, and his name in the group is DUIA. In addition, there are 3 managers, including the driver of the C license, the pilot of the plane, and the person who loves poverty. Clicking on this group, Sumu recalled the bully we once boasted about together, which is still vividly remembered today. 2A, is anyone still alive? C driver. Sleeping slot, you didn't even show up in the last big fight in the group. I thought you were dead. 2A just died a few months ago, it's not a big problem. Airplane pilot. Be good, it's been 3 years. Did our president lift the coffin board? Disgusting poverty and loving F. When I saw someone sending a message, I thought it was a departure. Lemon Emperor. Where's the picture? Hurry up and get a picture. See photo driver. Picture, Sumu hasn't appeared in this group for 3 years. Although the guild management is still very active, most of the members are diving, and it's unclear how many peepers there are. Seeing everyone start to bubble, Sumu also got to the point. 2A, I recently created a new game called MMORPG with a fantasy theme, which focuses on a 100% realistic game. Are you interested in participating in the beta test, everyone? Everyone in the group knows that Sumu is a programming ape, but he can still play games. And it's also a 100% real game. Driver C, thank you for inviting me. I'm dizzy with VR, so I'll just forget about it. Airplane pilot. Do you still have to play with VR? Goodbye, I'm a poor person. Disliking poverty and loving F. Poor +1, Lemon Emperor. MMORPG. I've played this kind of game so badly, can it be a bit innovative? Seeing this, Sumu immediately became unhappy. The foreign world that I only traveled through after my death is now open to you for free, but you are still nitpicking. 2A, don't get involved in junk VR games. My game is far more realistic than that, and I guarantee that you will experience the realism of traveling through different worlds. Is it as real as traveling to a different world? What expensive equipment is that? Without waiting for them to ask questions, I saw Sumu relax his policies. The internal testing quota is limited, and upon registration, game equipment will be provided for free, without spending a penny. Upon hearing that it was free, everyone's eyes lit up again. See driver. Free. Count me in. I can also play junk games. Airplane pilot. Since it's the president's invitation, I'll definitely give it face. Disliking poverty and loving F. How real, completely free, and open is traveling through a different world. Seeing the question of poverty and love for F, the Lemon Emperor sneered and said, "It's just a promotional tactic." You really believe it? When you enter the game, you will find only moving cartoon textures, 3 actions dropping 2 frames, and endless threading and lagging tormenting you. And you will also hear famous sayings like, "Come explore the previous area later." Anyway, the Lemon Emperor doesn't believe it. Currently, there is no technology that can achieve the effect described by Sumu. The called 100% authenticity is just a means to catch people's attention, and it is all false. Driver C. A free game, there are not so many requirements. I support the president's first wave and I will sign up. Aircraft pilot. Same support. Disliking poverty and loving F. Equally white. Support. Seeing the dog management cheering, the Lemon Emperor chose to remain silent. Sumu looked at the light screen, tapping his fingers on the table, and thought to himself, to accurately project them onto Dumfries, we still need positioning type magic props. In addition, it is necessary to establish a network positioning channel for placing magic props. With this in mind, Sumu turned his head to create the official game website and set up the Book Game button in the center above the website. As long as you click the button, the magic will follow the internet cable to target the reserved player, remember, and lock their physical features. Sumu can use this channel to deliver magic items to the locked target, which is very convenient. After completing the page, Sumu switched back to the old Driver Exchange Association. To www.dunfries.com, everyone go to the website to make an appointment. When you click on the page, you will see the official website of the game called Dumfries. Above the reservation button, there are also the current number of reservations and the countdown to opening the server. Just enter your phone number and delivery address to make a free appointment. Current number of appointments: 7 people. Countdown to server opening: 71.57.50. Good guy, Sumu glared at him. Someone really peeked at the screen. The number of people scheduled for this appointment is absolutely real, without any exaggeration. And Sumu could also see detailed data from the back end, and among the 7 people who booked the game, there was actually the Lemon Emperor. 7 people. Sumu waved his hand and turned off the light screen, feeling his chin and pondering, too much is not enough. It's better to call in the 3 of them, the C.Driver, first. Sumu is not sure how much magic is needed to summon players. For the sake of conservatism, only 3 spots will be open for now. Before the official beta of the game, Sumu gave himself 3 days to create positioning magic items during this time. The magic props used for positioning are easy to make, but since they are related to the game, Sumu thought for a moment and said, let's make it look like a flat pair of glasses. The structure is simple and the design is easy to make. Anyway, if I say it's a VR device, then it is. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Sage teaches me to be a bad merchant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Sage teaches me to be a bad merchant. Before setting out to customize VR glasses, Sumu reopened the official website, filled in and improved the content, at least making it look more fulfilling. The content includes game background, game rules, player goals, race, profession, and forum. It is worth mentioning that Sumu has set detailed information such as race, profession, etc. to be discovered by players. For example, if a player is forging iron in the world of Dumfries, they will discover the blacksmith profession. This intelligence will be automatically uploaded to the official website, and even have a detailed annotation of blacksmith. Discovered by XXX players. The entire process is fully automated, without the need for additional operations by Sumu, and can also increase the realism of the game Dunfreeze, improving player motivation, making it a win-win situation. Sage. Sumu. Just as Sumu was immersed in designing the official website content, the middle-aged man's shout came from the hallway outside the house, and his heavy footsteps were also rapidly approaching. Upon hearing the commotion, Sumu saved and closed the official website design page, only to see the heavily armored uncle snatch the door in. Sumu, you actually asked Shilu to take away the salaries of the holy knights. The uncle was furious and shouted loudly, do you know this will lead to a rebellion in the army? The person's name is Bradley Kevin, the commander of the Paladin, a Templar Knight of LV.50, and a middle-aged uncle in his 40s. This person has short red hair, a face covered with traces of time, and has lost one eye due to serious injuries. In addition to wearing fine steel and heavy armor, there is also a 2-meter giant sword hanging behind him that only he can dance. Even when walking, he can make dull footsteps. Before Sumu was sent to the city of Saint Mare, he had long been responsible for the border defense of the city and personally led the troops on patrols. When Sumu was going out of the city to practice, he was the first to stand up against him and never let Sumu take any risks. Although he spoke loudly, his nature was not bad. Captain Kevin. Sumu suddenly felt confused. I have never issued such an order. What the morale of those paladins had become scattered was clear to Sumu. If their salaries were withdrawn at this time, there was a high probability of causing an army riot. Before the words fall, I saw Hilo slowly walking into the room, holding a keychain in her left hand and a large burlap bag in her right hand. After she placed the sack on the ground, it slightly spread out, revealing the exquisite steel armor embedded with gemstones inside. Upon seeing this, Sumu's heart trembled and he threw an appraisal technique at the equipment. Illusionary treasure armor, quality. Epic level, moonlight stone enchantment. Physical resistance LV.5, amethyst enchantment. Magic resistance LV.5, dragon blood crystal enchantment. Stamina recovery rate LV.5, not only this set of armor, but also a divine sword inside. All of them are epic level equipment, where can Hilo get the money to buy them back? Hiss. The salary of the holy knights. Shilu. Sumu flashed up to her and pointed to the sack, saying, I told you to buy novice leather armor, not epic costumes. Upon hearing this, Shilu looked at the commander of Kevin's army and knew that he had come to file a complaint, but it was still a righteous explanation. This is the equipment to be given to the brave, the commander should be able to understand. Is it for the brave? Kevin pondered for a moment upon hearing the words and said, even if it's given to the brave, it's not enough. In the current situation, how can we place hope on the brave alone? Instead of spending military pay to please the brave, it's better to enhance the overall strength of the army. That's right. Sumu put on a approving expression, that's right. I'll take the equipment and return it now. Return. Upon hearing this, Shilu glared at Kevin, the commander of the army, and spoke to remind Sumu, Your Highness, if it weren't for fully supporting the brave, he would very likely go on strike. Nowadays, the situation of the human race is precarious, and the brave have to travel from their hometowns to assist them in defeating the Demon King, with the risk of losing their lives at any time. If you don't give them the best equipment, give them the maximum support. Why did the brave man risk his life to help? No, stabilizing military morale is the big deal now, and the city cannot become even more chaotic. Sumu objected, as for the brave, I know them better than you. Besides, one set of equipment is not enough, at least 3 sets are needed. This time, I plan to summon 3 warriors. Strictly speaking, they are not only brave players, but also players. They are the fourth natural disaster at a real price. If we give them divine costumes at the beginning, they will definitely run to fix things. Holding a pair of, I don't know who I am, let alone where I am, all I know is to start a killing spree. A positive mindset. Even if the Demon King personally visits the city of Saint Mare, they dare to go up and strike a sword. If you encounter a ruthless person, you may even come up and strike Su Mu and the others. As a summoner, Su Mu's attacks are ineffective, but Hilu and Kevin may actually be killed. So we cannot give away divine costumes for nothing. Absolutely not. It must be replaced with leather armor, and it's the lowest quality junk. Su Mu then picked up his sack and muttered as he walked, if you want equipment, you can earn money to buy it yourself, otherwise who will create KPIs? Nowadays, the residents of the entire city of Saint Mare are very decadent, and Su Mu still hopes to inject the fresh blood of players to revitalize the city. As Su Mu muttered and walked out of the room, Kevin and Hilu met in surprise. What did the sage just say? Since ancient times, only one brave person can be summoned, and the wise person actually wants to summon 3. It's just ridiculous. Kevin stared. He didn't want to pin his hope on the brave alone, but he didn't want you to summon 3 brave ones, let alone this is impossible. On the other hand, Shilu was even more surprised. The sage intends to give the warriors the worst tattered leather armor. Will the warriors not be able to strike in place after seeing this? The brave are the last hope to conquer the Demon King. Is he diligent, and even affects the rise and fall of the human race? How can he be given the worst leather armor? Kevin patted Shilu's shoulder and said with relief, don't worry, there's also our Paladin Legion. But Shilu glared and said, it's because of the commander of the army that the wise prepare bad equipment for the brave. Kevin blew his beard and glared. I'm against giving expensive epic equipment, but I didn't say I wanted to give it to the rotten leather armor. That was the wise man's own idea. But to be honest, which one is Su Mu playing with? On the other side, Su Mu arrived at the blacksmith's shop with a burlap bag in hand. The residents surrounding this place scattered in the morning, appearing somewhat desolate. Shida. Su Mu shouted and then walked into the store. Return this set of equipment to me. As soon as I walked into the store, before I could see Harvey Sid's shadow, I saw 3 apprentices packing up their equipment and looking ready to run away. Upon hearing Su Mu's voice, an old man with a big beard walked out of the shop, and it was Harvey Sid, a blacksmith from LV.27. Master Sage. This is the best equipment in our store. Why do you suddenly want to return it? Sid doesn't understand. This set of illusionary treasure armor is his store treasure. Now that the Demon King army is almost knocking on his door, he sold it to Hilu at a low price, but Su Mu still wants to return it. Sid definitely wouldn't want to do anything. He just wanted to run away with money and set off from the North Gate to seek refuge in the Imperial capital, using the money earned in these few days to have another good time. No need to say more, just give me a refund. Su Mu glanced at the apprentice who was removing his equipment and said, What? Are you planning to run away as a refugee? Ha ha ha, Shida awkwardly smiled, and Su Mu also laughed with him. Then Su Mu patted Shida's shoulder and said, Don't worry, even if all the residents of this city run away, I won't let you out of the city. Upon hearing these words, Sid's smiling face immediately turned into a pig liver color. Sage, I haven't provoked you before. This equipment was also bought by Lord Shirlu, and I didn't promote it. Sid quickly explained. Su Mu didn't respond, but scanned the remaining equipment in the store. A series of appraisal techniques were thrown out, and the conclusion was quickly drawn. 17 rare level items, 5 rare level items, and 1 epic level item are all good equipment, not even ordinary level trash cans. It can be seen that Sid is indeed one of the best blacksmiths in the Empire. Su Mu cannot let him go, and he still needs to continue crafting equipment. However, legendary and even artifact level equipment above epic level is likely to require a dwarf blacksmith to forge. Relax. Su Mu looked back at Sid and said, I want you to continue selling equipment in the city of Saint Mare. Ah. Sid frowned and said, Master Sage, now all the people in Saint Mare are soldiers, and Miss Modesty in the Red Candle District has bought 17 sets of rare armor. There have been no new customers for a long time. Moreover, the mining cave in the south of the city has also been occupied by the demon army. Without metal or magical materials, I am unable to craft new equipment. Nowadays, adventurers have disappeared, the main customers of blacksmiths have disappeared, and mines have also been lost. Even if he earns money by repairing equipment, he will still lack materials. Moreover, the city of Saint Mare is in a precarious situation, and the demon army may besiege the city at any time, making it impossible to stay here for a long time. I am about to summon the hero. You can sell the hero's equipment, and as for the mining area, the hero will help you retrieve it. Su Mu coldly blurted out a sentence. Upon hearing this, Sid quickly covered his ears and said, What are you saying, wise man? I suddenly became deaf, and I didn't hear anything. The summoning of warriors is a secret between the high-ranking officials of the Empire, and Sid doesn't want to be involved in it. But Su Mu continued nonchalantly, braves are easy to fool. You can sell them 5 silver coins with just a piece of broken leather armor. Don't you feel tempted? Ordinary leather armor, even without the use of Warcraft skin, only requires wolf fur as material, and is made by blacksmith apprentices. It can sell for 10 copper coins if it breaks through the sky. 100 copper coins equals 1 silver coin. 5 silver coins, that's the unit price of rare level equipment, even in the red light area. Can he just trap the hero like this? Sid stared at Su Mu. What is the situation? The sage is actually teaching him how to be an unscrupulous businessman. Seeing Sheeta's heart palpitating, Su Mu grinned and said, First, help me make a batch of glasses that can be used to summon the brave. After speaking, Su Mu took out the design of the VR glasses and did not give Sid a chance to refuse. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. It's time to rectify the red candle area. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. It's time to rectify the red candle area. When Shilu hurriedly arrived at the scene, Su Mu had already returned his illusionary armor and divine sword, and entrusted the task of making VR glasses to Sid. Shilu, you're here at the right time. Su Mu handed her a bag of silver coins when he saw Shilu arrive. Take it to Captain Kevin's army, and I'll go to the red candle area again. Upon hearing these words, Hilu, who had just arrived, was extremely anxious. The equipment for the hero has not been properly processed yet, and the sage is actually going to the red candle zone again. Master Sage, what are you going to do in the red candle district again? Anxious Shilu spoke in a panic. In the current situation in the city of Saint Mare, she must not let the wise fall with her. On the other hand, Su Mu raised his eyebrows and said, Go see and see. And this red candle area must also be reorganized. The red candle district must be rectified, otherwise when players discover such a place, they will have to live here every day. Rectifying the red candle district. Ziluodun came to his senses and said, Wise decision. Wise lord, let me assist you. No, military pay is important. Hurry up and find the commander of the army, and then I'll give you a half-day off. Stay where it's cool. Su Mu furrowed his brows, his calculations clanking in his heart. But no matter what Su Mu said, his most loyal and loyal Shilu guards followed behind with bags. Hongju district, although it's not yet evening, people are already coming and going here. Among the crowds passing by at the intersection, there were also many paladins that Su Mu knew. Looking from afar, Captain Kevin also appeared on the opposite street corner. Su Mu quickly shouted, Captain Kevin. Your salary for the Holy Knights. At that moment, Sumu gestured for Shilu to deliver it to him, but when Kevin glanced over, he hurriedly turned his head and left. It looks very strange. Hey, why did the commander of the army leave? Sumu asked, don't even want the military pay. Shilu stood on the right side behind Sumu and said very seriously, Your Excellency, the matter of rectifying the Red Candle District is urgent. Sumu turned his head in surprise to look at Shilu, who actually urged him to enter the Red Candle Zone. What's going on with Kevin and Hello today? They are all very abnormal. For Hongju District, Sumu also holds a curious attitude. This alley is very narrow and can only allow 2 people to pass side by side. There is a lamp stand hanging on the wall, which is lit up with orange-red shimmer magic. The women in the alley are not exposed in their attire, but they are very slim-fitting, showcasing their capital to the fullest. Additionally, due to the narrow road, it is difficult for passers-by to pass by without being teased. As soon as Sumu entered the alley, he saw the young man in front of him being rubbed against by someone. He twisted his face and was dragged into the secret passage, which was terrifying. Sumu tried to perk up his ears to listen, but he couldn't hear any strange movements. And when those women saw Sumu here, they all turned their heads and hid back in the alley, and no one dared to tease them. When Sumu walked to the center of the alley, he saw other customers also bowing their heads and facing the wall, afraid to look at Sumu, this wise man. TSK. Sumu hissed and turned to look at Shilu, you scared them all away. Who should I talk to? It's normal for ordinary customers to be afraid to look at Sumu, but the sisters are afraid to attract customers. That's definitely Shilu's problem. No, wise man, perhaps you are too ugly. Shilu turned her head and never gave in on this matter. What are you saying? Sumu stared at Shilu and said, I am a jade tree with a charming appearance, extraordinary in appearance, gentle and elegant, and talented in appearance. Before Sumu could finish speaking, a woman with a tied headband and a long skirt appeared in the alley. Eleanor Modesty, the leader of the Red Candle District, is also a talker. Master Sage, Modesty nodded toward Sumu and bowed slightly. Are you here today for business? Modesty looked at Shilu again. If it weren't for business, Sumu wouldn't have brought female guards here, would he? Su Mahanyan knew that Shilu was affecting the business here, otherwise Modesty wouldn't have appeared so soon. Miss Modesty, please find a quiet place and let's talk. Modesty nodded at the words and immediately led Sumu to a room in the secret passage. The room is not simple, and the bed cabinets and candlesticks can be considered exquisite, especially the double bed, which is covered with a bed blanket. You should know that it's not cotton grown in the field, but rather a demon named Poison-Horned Sheep. Ordinary families simply cannot afford it. Master Sage, I don't have an ordinary room here, do you mind if I do? Modesty looked at Sumu. Mind. Sumu sat down on the bed and instead looked at Modesty, you're not sitting. As he spoke, Sumu patted his side. Modesty glanced at Shilu with a fierce expression on her face, then smiled awkwardly and shook her head. You should be aware that the impact of the Red Candle District on residents and the paladins cannot be ignored nowadays. Seeing that Modesty couldn't take her seat, Sumu went straight to the main topic. When he spoke, Shilu also nodded in agreement. On the contrary, Modesty's face looked unpleasant and she said with a hint of displeasure, this is the problem of the great figures of the empire. Should it be on our women's heads? Is this bullying them without the ability to rebel? Shilu raised her head and retorted with righteousness, the Red Candle District must be rectified. The wise are deeply aware of this matter and have made a decision on it. You should cooperate. Modesty shook her head and stared at Shilu, why bother women? That's right. Sumu nodded and pondered for a moment. Starting from today, the Hongju district must raise prices. Shilu. Modesty was momentarily taken aback, and then her gaze became deep and serious. Your Excellency, please explain in detail. For her, the more money she earns, the better. If the territory of the human race is lost in the future, gold, silver, and jewelry can help them wander around, seeking help from elves, dwarves, or other races. Nowadays, residents don't want to make progress and come here to consume with their own money. How can this be done? Su Mu stared. If prices go up, they must go up, at least 10 times. Especially for players, the price of 5 silver coins is too cheap. Since he can't come to the red candle zone, players like the driver of the C photo can't afford to spend easily, they must raise the price. Setting a small goal of 50 silver coins for them will also give them more motivation to make money. Upon hearing this, Shilu hurriedly took a step forward and approached Su Mu, proposing, "Sage, aren't you going to close the red candle zone? Why is there a price increase? Turn off the red candle zone." Su Mubai glanced at Shilu and said, "You also saw Captain Kevin's army. What should the paladins do if they are dissatisfied with this? Furthermore, if the red candle section is turned off, where should Miss Modesty and her companions go?" Modesty nodded as if pounding garlic upon hearing the words, fully agreeing. The Demon King's army was overwhelming, and the people in the city were in panic, unable to resist his bold reforms. Su Mu also used this as an excuse to persuade himself. However, Modesty couldn't believe that Su Mu didn't come to seal them down, but instead made them raise their prices. Thinking about the issue of public and military morale, Modesty continued to pounce, "Your Excellency, if the price suddenly increases tenfold, those loyal customers will also feel dissatisfied." "Just say it was my order to increase prices," Su Mu said solemnly. "Also, you can make some discount coupons and distribute them to those loyal customers. Give them discounts of 20%, 50%, or even 10% off when you bring them, and once the discount coupons are ready." Su Mu smiled and hinted. Modesty suddenly realized upon seeing this and said, "Thank you, Lord. After the discount coupons are ready, we will definitely send someone to deliver some to the mansion." These discount coupons are also of great use to Su Mu. If he cannot find something good to reward players, or needs to mobilize players to participate in large-scale battles, he only needs to draw out one discount coupon, which will definitely make players flock to it. Hilu standing on the side stared blankly as she listened. Seeing that Shilu had been pestling in his right hand was about to draw his sword, Su Mu knew that he couldn't communicate deeply with Modesty, so he decided to leave directly. "It's just a front and back leg effort." Captain Kevin appeared on the street and flashed into the red candle zone. "Modesty, what's going on?" "The sage wants to seal the red candle district." Kevin approached the door with ease and anxiously asked. "No," Modesty chuckled, "the wise support us in raising prices, and it's a tenfold increase." "Price increase? 10 times more?" Kevin widened his eyes. "What's the difference between this and sealing off the red candle zone?" Modesty patted Kevin's chest with a smile and said, "Relax, we will offer discounts to our loyal customers." "Will we still offer discounts to loyal customers?" Kevin lost his mind on those matters and quickly went out to search for Su Mu's figure. Since he decided to summon the brave, Su Mu had only been holding down the blacksmith Sid who was about to run away for a morning, and secretly urged Modesty to raise his price for him. These seemingly insignificant trivial matters all imply the livelihood issues of the city of Saint Mare. It is not difficult to guess that Su Mu wants to use the summoning of the brave to revitalize the city of Saint Mare. "The wise are indeed swift and resolute," Kevin exclaimed before shaking his head. "Unfortunately, the wise miscalculated one point, and a brave man cannot drive all his efforts. To restart the private business in Saint Mare, at least hundreds of adventurers need to create demand. How much demand can a brave person make up for? Can a sage truly summon 3 brave warriors? No, it's impossible. Dumfries has never had a precedent of summoning multiple warriors. Furthermore, even if 3 brave warriors were summoned, they would not be able to turn over the waves. Kevin just didn't know that Sumu really had the ability to summon hundreds or even thousands of warriors, but he needed to go step by step and slowly summon more warriors. On the way to the Adventurers Guild, Kevin finally caught up with Sumu's back. He was about to come forward and remind Sumu a few words, but suddenly he was blocked by the pursuing paladin. "Captain, the convoy heading to the Imperial capital today was attacked by monsters, causing many refugees to flee back. They requested that the paladins escort the convoy." Upon hearing the news, Kevin's forehead wrinkled horizontally. The cold winter has passed, and the monsters have gradually become active, which is not a good thing for the city of Saint Mare. "Let's find a place to settle the refugees first." Kevin turned his gaze to Sumu's back. "We can't draw manpower now, we can only pause the progress of the refugees' migration and close the north gate. The activation of monsters indicates that the demon army is also about to take action, and the ritual of summoning the brave is imminent. The security of Saint Mare's city defense is of utmost importance, and no one can casually dispatch manpower." End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Is this thing really special? Code VR. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Is this thing really special? Code VR. Adventurer Guild. If viewed from a distance, it looks like an elegant castle, built with blue and yellow tiles. Above the tightly closed double doors, there is also an adventurer's sword and shield emblem hanging high. Since the rise of the demon army, the situation has become increasingly critical, and adventurers have gradually become high-risk professions. After a few surviving adventurers surrendered, the guild was left empty and turned into an abandoned building. Sumu tried to push the door and entered, only to see a blue magic circle lit up on the door. Sage, the president of the Adventurers Guild, has fled to the Imperial capital. Only he can unlock this sealing magic. Shilu spoke out as a reminder. When Sumu asked her to reclaim the empty houses in the city, she came to the Adventurer Guild. But this guild gate does not have a physical lock, but is sealed with high-level magic, and Hilu cannot open it. It can be opened. Sumu carefully observed the sealing magic and quickly found a code vulnerability. "Since he has escaped to the Imperial capital, then I will become the president." When speaking, Sumu cast magic and built a magic circle similar to the seal. When the two magic circles rotated and overlapped, the seal broke on its own. Shilu's eyebrows trembled slightly at the sight. It was not the first time she had seen Sumu use this method, but she still felt surprised. The escaped guild leader was a great wizard from LV.45. The sealing magic he set was beyond the reach of ordinary wizards, but he was dismissed like a child in front of Sumu. It seems that whenever there is a problem involving magic, Sumu can always easily solve it. Just as Sumu pushed open the door, he heard Kevin's call coming from his side. "Sage, the monsters in the north have started to become active, and the official road is no longer safe. Suspend the migration plan for the refugees first." Sumu and Kevin made the same judgment, while gesturing for Shilu to return the military pay to Kevin. "I need to restart the Adventurer Guild. Are there any girls left in the Paladin army? Send me some from you." Pushing open the Adventurer Guild gate, the winter-accumulated dust inside the house flew out. Whether it's cleaning the guild or hiring counter-specialists for future operations, they all require manpower. Upon hearing these words, Kevin suddenly felt his head swell. "Sage, I know you want the residents of Saint Mare to be revitalized, but this is by no means an effect that the brave can bring. Let me see, you should choose elites to form a team and assist the brave in defeating the Demon King." In Kevin's view, Sumu, Shilu, and applying to the Imperial capital for the support of the Holy Maiden are enough to gather a brave team. Brave, magician sage, warrior paladin, healer saint. Isn't this the standard brave team? It's just that Shilu is weaker as a warrior, but as the commander of the army, he can't pull himself away, otherwise this team would be perfect. Sumu simply waved his hand to refuse this proposal. "What era is it? Do you still want to follow the old style? Wait for me to summon the brave and start the era of national courage. Kevin and Hello looked at each other helplessly. Although they have some differences in their attitudes towards the brave, the most outrageous one is still Sumu. That's a hero. Throughout history, great mages can only summon one. How many more do Sumu want to summon? However, Sumu is always a wise person who has the right to speak in the city of Saint Mare. Even if Kevin disagrees, he still sends 20 female paladins. After arranging their work, Sumu returned to the mansion and continued to bury his head in supplementing the content of the official website of Dumfries.ol. Until the next morning, the crisp knocking on the door awakened Sumu. Master Sage, Blacksmith Sid requests to see you. Shilu's voice came from outside the door. When Sumu went to open the door drowsily, he saw Shilu and Sid standing outside the door. Your Excellency, the glasses you requested have been made. Seeing Sumu, Sid reached into the magic bag at his waist and pulled out a black cloth bag from it. As per your request, this is the first batch of goods, totaling 50 pieces. Sid opened the cloth bag with his hand and showed the VR glasses inside. A simple wooden frame, paired with light and thin flat lenses, feels like it will break when broken with force. However, these glasses cannot be considered as magic props, and Sumu needs to continue to enchant them. Besides positioning, let's add another sturdy attribute. Sumu then raised his hand to cast the spell. This startled Sid and he said, Your Highness, do you still want to enchant these glasses? There are conditions to enchant items. Not only do you need a magician with strong strength, but you also need equipment materials that can withstand magic. Previously, Sid was unaware that Sumu had such a need, and coupled with the current scarcity of iron ore, he used the willow trees in the back alley of the blacksmith shop as his production material. Willow wood is a material that cannot withstand the magic generated when enchanted. Without waiting for Sid to explain, Sumu's glasses in front of him shimmered for a while, and magical inscriptions were engraved on the wooden frame. Got it. Sid exclaimed in surprise. Seeing Sumu stop, Shida quickly used appraisal techniques on his glasses. Wooden flat mirror quality. Normal wooden frame enchantment. Positioning LV.1, sturdy LV.3 hiss. Sid took a cold breath. Sumu not only successfully enchanted, but also enchanted with dual attributes, and even had a strong attribute as high as LV.3. What kind of show or operation is this? Hilu beside her was also helping her forehead. Sure enough, once the problem involved magic, the wise man could always easily solve it. The incident that surprised Shida's chin was still going on, and Sumu followed suit and enchanted 2 pairs of glasses. Without exception, all were successful. Moreover, Sumu did this laborious and demonic thing of enchanting 3 times in a row, but in the end, he didn't even catch his breath. Let's get 3 for now. Sumu first threw his glasses on the ground and stepped on them to ensure that the durability of LV.3 was sufficient before using a magic channel to release them to the 3 drivers of the C.photo. This operation was also confusing for Sid and Hilu. Alright, Sumu waved his hand and greeted the 2 of them. Shilu, take Shida to collect the money. After supporting them, Sumu opened the magic desktop, connected to the Earth network, and opened the old driver communication group through communication software. 2A at Dog Management, have you received all the VR glasses? C driver. What VR glasses? 2A at Dog Management, take a look at your phone, haven't you received a text message notification for the delivery to arrive? Lemon Emperor. Answer. I haven't received it. Undercover driving. President, I haven't received it either. No. Lemon, did you also make an appointment? In front of the computer screen, Li Xian, who was masturbating, was stunned. He is the C.photo driver in the communication group. Li Xian picked up his phone and saw that there was really an unread text message. Dumfries Express. Your VR device has arrived, please pick it up at the doorstep of the shipping address. Did you arrive so soon? Gone, why did you just throw it at the door? Someone won't pick it up easily, will they? Thinking about this, Li Xian quickly ran to the door to check. Just as he opened the door, a box quietly appeared on the ground. If it weren't for the player who received the text message coming to open the door, this box wouldn't have appeared, so there's no fear of being picked up. Fortunately, no one picked it up. Li Xian muttered, picked up the box and returned indoors. Wait for him to open the delivery box. I saw a pair of wooden glasses placed among them, grass. How could it be a pair of wooden glasses? Is this thing VR? Li Xian picked up his glasses and played with them, marveling at the magical patterns on the frame. The carved patterns are quite exquisite, he said. He casually put on his wooden glasses, and a countdown to opening his clothes suddenly appeared in the center of his field of vision. Is this the countdown to opening the server? Shouldn't these glasses still be able to connect to the internet? Nowadays, being able to project images on glass is not a new thing, but if these wooden glasses can be connected to the internet, it would be something. When Li Xian looked back at his phone, he saw that the group was already lively. Aircraft pilot. I also received it on my end, but why is it a wooden pair of glasses? Disgusting poverty in loving F. President, aren't you joking? Is this supposed to be VR glasses? Like Li Xian, they were quite speechless about these wooden glasses. Li Xian also joined in upon seeing the situation. Driver seat, President, let's not talk about the game for now. It's really the first time I've seen such low-quality VR glasses. Seeing these dogs being managed so well, Sumu chuckled. If I say it's VR, then it is. You put on your glasses and shout, Dumfries, to enter the game. Lemon Emperor. Laugh to death, don't tease me. I should go to the island country to fight monsters, cover up. Undercover driving. It's a bit fake. The chairman and dog managers, you shouldn't be doing pyramid schemes, right? Other group members also made reservations for games, but they didn't see VR glasses, so it's no wonder they didn't believe it. When Ku was curious about how several dog managers would respond, they were silent. A few seconds ago, Li Xian put on his glasses again and tentatively muttered in a low voice, Dumfries. In just an instant, Li Xian was dragged into a dark space where there was no daylight, but he could see the scenery in front of him clearly. There is a mirror in front of me, and on the right side is a clothes rack with clothes hanging on it. Sleeping trough. Li Xian shouted in surprise and quickly searched for a way to leave. Before he could step back and run, he collided directly with an air wall. When he touched the air wall and explored around, he found that the range of activity was only 20 square meters. Sleeping in bed, imprisoned. I'm afraid I'm not dreaming. Li Xian looked into the mirror and found that the figure reflected in the mirror was not himself, but a strange man. And there is also an operation panel on the mirror, and the countdown to opening the server is displayed at the top. Is this special code a game? Li Xian quickly walked up to the mirror and looked at the figure in the mirror incredulously. Sleeping slot. Is this special code me? This facial detail is too realistic, isn't it? No. Li Xian quickly looked at the control panel and found the exit button at the bottom. Click the button. Li Xian woke up from a dream in the real world, still sitting on the esports chair with a hissing sound at the corner of his mouth. Did I just take a nap? Li Xian wiped his saliva and took off his wooden glasses in disbelief. This thing is really special code VR. He quickly ran back to the group, only to see the members questioning. Driver C @2A, President, where did you get this high-tech thing? C photo driver. At airplane pilot, disgusted of poverty in love F, have you seen the space for pinching faces? Sleeping slots, the special code is outrageous. Li Xian originally wanted to talk about the face-pinching interface, but it was completely an independent space. Just pinching his face in that space, he can play all morning. Lemon Emperor. Continuing to act again. You're still trying to save face space. Why don't we have VR glasses? When will we have a showdown and ask us to pay for them? Not much time passed, and the pilots and the poor Love F also reappeared. Aircraft pilot. Mad, I thought I had died suddenly and almost scared out of a heart attack. Disgusting poverty and loving F, me too. Just as I found the exit button, I quickly stepped out and gave it a try. C driver. At Lemon Emperor, have you all made an appointment? But haven't you received your glasses yet? Undercover driving. I didn't receive it. Seeing that the group members had doubts, Sumu came forward again to explain. At all members, the server is filled up with a large amount of game data. For now, 3 slots will be open for the time being, and will be gradually opened after the server is upgraded. In addition, this game and device will always be free. After sending the message, Sumu turned off the virtual desktop and carefully sensed his own status. Magic. 1197/1200. When the drivers were pinching the facial space, Sumu's magic was consumed by 3 points, which was the price he paid as a server. Don't underestimate these 3 points. As long as the player is still logging into the game, Sumu will continue to consume magic. Approximately 1 point of magic per person per hour, and Sumu naturally restores 10 magic points every hour. According to this numerical calculation, he can support up to 60 players continuously online for 24 hours. This does not include the magic consumed by summoning the player's constructed body to Dumfries for the first time. Before the next upgrade, a maximum of 50 slots are open. Sumu tapped his finger on the desktop and pondered, you should prepare some more magic potions. If it really doesn't work, let's get another anti-addiction system. The monsters around St. Mal's City are becoming increasingly active, and he needs to quickly solve the current problem and summon all the players. Meanwhile, the 3 drivers of the C photo are not talking nonsense in the group, they all run to create characters in the face space. The fine lines on the face, the elasticity of the skin, the tactile sensation of the clothes. The driver exclaimed with emotion, if the facial space is so realistic, then the game itself should not be bad, right? Looking at the countdown on the opening of the car in the mirror, the driver's heart became increasingly itchy and unbearable. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Are these 3 fools brave? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Are these 3 fools brave? In the remaining 2 days, Sid has sent another batch of wooden glasses, totaling 200 pairs, which will definitely be enough in a short period of time. Modesty also came to her door and delivered a pre-made 10% discount coupon, which earned Sumu endless praise. However, while searching for the magic potion, Hellu discovered that all the potion shops in the city had closed, and in the end, only 13 bottles were found from the Paladin Legion. Sumu also wanted to restart the magic potion industry, but all the magic potion masters in St. Mare's City fled to the Imperial capital. Even if they obtained herbs, no one could refine them. To reopen the magic potion shop, one must first suppress the northern monsters and maintain the safety of the official road before dispatching the magic potion master from the Imperial capital. In addition, Sumu also reinforced the protective magic of St. Mare's City and dispatched paladins patrolling the city walls to ensure that they would not be attacked by the demon army when summoning warriors. After completing a series of preparations, we finally welcomed the day of brave summoning. On a sunny morning, there are 2 rows of paladins standing neatly in the courtyard of the mansion. Shilu and Kevin stood on both sides of Sumu, one on the left and one on the right. Shilu was still holding a magical potion in her hand, ready to hand it to Sumu at any time. Sage, is it almost time? Kevin squinted his eyes and looked at the sun, unsure of the auspicious timing for summoning a hero. On the side, Shilu was also worried and said, Sage, are you sure you don't need the assistance of other wizards to summon? This is summoning a hero from a different world, relying solely on Sumu's magical power to cast spells. Is he sure he won't have any problems? Faced with their questions, Sumu only looked at the screen and did not answer. In the light screen, the three drivers of C are standing in the squeezed face space, eagerly looking up at the countdown. It's time. Sumu turned off the light screen, folded his hands together, and unfolded. The deep blue magic circle spiraled and enlarged in the palm of his hand. After the magic circle expanded to a certain extent, Sumu suddenly clapped his hands and mapped the magic circle onto the ground. Immediately, the magic circle on the ground grew larger and larger, until it occupied the entire courtyard of the mansion. It was then that three figures gradually gathered in the center of the magic circle. Is this summoning the brave? Did the sage sing magic just now? No chanting or casting spells. So, we wise men are so fierce. The paladins guarding around stared in astonishment, and Hello and Kevin also widened their eyes. Three figures. Sage. You actually summoned 3 warriors. How could that be? Shilu quickly approached Sumu and reached out to hand over the magic potion, saying, Master Sage, do you want to drink a bottle quickly? This is a magic for summoning warriors. In ancient times, it was necessary to gather enough 20 great mages to summon one. Surprisingly, Sumu himself summoned 3 people. It's unbelievable. However, Sumu checked his own condition, and this operation only consumed 300 mana, averaging 100 per person. Perhaps due to using C+ to modify magic, the consumption is far less astonishing than before. In the midst of everyone's surprise, the phantom figure gradually solidified, and 3 men dressed plainly appeared in the center of the formation. There is a slight difference in height among the 3 individuals, but they all exceed 1.8 meters. Their hair colors range from red to blue, but their appearance is getting more and more handsome. The red hedgehog head among them is a C-shaped driver. He is raising his hands to feel the world. Fresh air, scorching sunshine, warm spring breeze, this is the feeling of being alive. And the scenery that comes into view is just like the real world. C looks at the driver's side. The blue-haired young man was spreading his pants and looking down, muttering in disappointment. Damn, are you so naughty? Are you feeling poor and loving F? Ah. Huang Mao, who was approaching the paladin, heard the words and said, I love F for poverty. The driver looked at blue hair again and said, you're an airplane pilot. The pilot of the plane loosened his belt and crashed into his abdominal muscles, making a popping sound. See photo of the driver, feeling poor and loving F. The 3 of them quickly distinguished each other, so he said to them, you come over quickly. These NPCs are all dressed in exquisite armor. Can you peel them off? Upon hearing these words, the paladins guarding around took a step back. Sleeping in bed, these NPCs are not from the street background. They can still have a reaction. Exclaimed F in surprise. Upon hearing these words, the driver of the C photo and the pilot of the plane rushed over with a posture of wanting to pounce and pick up equipment, causing the paladin to retreat in fear. Lying down, they really can dodge. This NPC is too smart, isn't it? At this moment, the besieged paladins had long cursed lunatics in their hearts. If they had not known they were brave, they would have been chopped to death with a sword. Not only the paladins, but also Shirlu and Kevin standing on both sides of Sumu were stunned on the spot. Are these 3 people brave? Shouldn't they be confused when summoned from another world? What was their reaction as a result? What the hell is blue hair looking at when he just opened his pants? Also, are the names of people from other worlds so strange? Shilu's hand, which handed out the magical potion, froze in mid-air and whispered to Sumu, Sage, is there a problem with the summoning technique? Hiss. Kevin also took a cold breath and added softly, Sage, shouldn't you turn a hero into 3 lunatics? Abandon one hero and summon 3 lunatics to Dumfries. It seems very reasonable to think so. Cough cough. Su-mu couldn't hold his head at the words, "Braves, stop." Upon hearing Su-mu's shout, the 3 drivers turned their heads to look at him. This person is wearing aristocratic clothes, so he should be a big shot. The driver attempted to analyze the situation. Maybe it's a beginner's plot, what does he say? The pilot nodded in agreement. Plot. F, who dislikes poverty, tried to shout, "Skip. Skip. 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 TSK. Kevin tilted his head in amazement at the sight of these 3 intellectually disabled warriors. Su-mu had 3 black lines hanging on his face, continuing to explain for them. Braves, be quiet. First of all, welcome to Dumfries. Now that the Demon King army is outside the city, the situation of the human race is precarious. The Dumfries Empire needs you to become brave and hopes that you can defeat the Demon King and rebuild the glory of the human race. I will give you a beginner's gift package, hoping that you can quickly adapt to life in Dumfries. After speaking, Su-mu used white light magic to 3 players. After being hit by white light magic, prompts rang in the minds of the 3 players. Received a gift from the wise man, understanding magic. Appraisal technique, get Dumfries game introduction, game objective. Conquer the Demon King, game rules. 100% real freedom, players can freely play, but illegal activities will be arrested by the Paladin. For details, please refer to the Dumfries Code, Resurrection Rule. After death, use your soul to find a wise man and spend a specified amount of money to buy him alive. Currently, resurrection requires 5 silver coins. Contribution Rule. Completing related tasks can earn contributions from the human race. The higher the contribution, the more rewards can be unlocked. P.S. Braves who have been imprisoned for a long time or those who have died but have not been resurrected will be disqualified from internal testing distributed to players in need. Sleeping trough, I have learned magic. Are you all experts in appraisal? It should be the basic magic sent at the beginning. The 3 of them hardly scrutinized the rules and exclaimed in surprise when they saw the appraisal technique. The driver opened the attribute bar first, and a screen appeared in front of him that only he could see. Name. See photo driver, level. 1. Occupation. Adventurer, power. 4. Physical strength. 6. Magic. 3. Agile. 5. Mastered skill. Basic magic. Appraisal technique. The attributes of airplane pilots and those who dislike poverty and love F are also quite similar. So the 3 of them coincidentally threw appraisal techniques at Shilu. Name. Phyllis Sherlu, level. 35, occupation. Paladin, favorite rating. 13 and there is also a favorability system. Is 13 favorability high or low? C. Ask the driver a question. Can we get married to NPC when we have full favorability? Immediately after, the pilot of the plane exclaimed in surprise, who did you identify? I see how little sister Hilo's favorability is negative. Hee hee. Disgusted of poverty, Love F smiled and said, I also saw sister Shilu. Her favorability rating is 7. Ha ha ha, the driver immediately laughed and said, you don't have as much favorability as me. He immediately understood that one bird watching in public and one attempted robbery would definitely reduce NPC's favorability. Little did they know that his sudden silly smile had reduced Hilu's liking for him by 3 points. Seeing the 3 of them so rare and strange, Su-mu couldn't help but think of the time when he had just crossed over to Dumfries. Well, I am much stronger than them. Ladies and gentlemen, Su-mu said to attract the attention of the 3, follow me. There are beginner supplies prepared for you at the blacksmith shop. Are there any new supplies left? C took the driver's surprise and looked at Su-mu. He just had a rough look, and among all the NPCs present, Sumu had the highest favorability towards them. And it's as high as 65 points. The pilot muttered softly, "This sage should be the most important NPC, his initial favorability is outrageously high." "That's right, following him should bring a lot of benefits," agreed AIF, who disliked poverty. "But the name is so ordinary, it doesn't feel like being from another world at all." TSK. Sumu gave a look of disgust towards poverty and said, "Please call me Socrates the shepherd." "No, you should call me the sage." Lying trough. Disgusting poverty and loving F, dumbfounded on the spot, should NPC be so intelligent? He quickly used appraisal techniques on Sumu. "My favorability has dropped by 2 points. How could this NPC be so careful?" On the way to the blacksmith's shop, Helou and Kevin followed behind Sumu, occasionally glancing at the 3 brave warriors bouncing around. "Look at the details of this building, he's really real." And the NPC on the street, their expressions are different, shouldn't they all be intelligent AI? Sleeping Slot, this game is really amazing. It's amazing. They looked left and shouted right, like 3 monkey spirits. Sage, it's really impressive that you can summon 3 brave warriors. But it's these 3 fools. If the Emperor finds out, he will definitely punish us severely. After Kevin finished speaking, he sighed again and said, "Forget it, think it over. Maybe we won't even live until the Emperor punishes us severely." That's a bit of a worrisome thought. Faced with the 3 of them who were like Lu Lao Lao entering the Grand View Garden, Sumu also felt a little helpless. "Don't worry, they will be normal in a while." Shilu slightly quickened her pace, evading the player while finding Sumu. "Sage, our route is not right. We shouldn't take this road to get to the blacksmith's shop, it's a detour." "No detour." Sumu smiled at the 3 players and said, "Since they are willing to watch, let's take them around to see." This is his carefully planned route, and not too far ahead is the Red Candle District. I believe that as long as you pass by the Red Candle Zone, even players who come with a casual mindset will have to quickly turn into 996 powerful gamers, transforming into a despicable outsider who burns, loots, and kills all the monsters. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The ignorant are fearless. The terrifying action power of the brave. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The ignorant are fearless. The terrifying action power of the brave. Quickly, Helou also noticed something ahead and couldn't help but cast a sideways glance at Sumu. Until passing by the Red Candle area, seeing the 6 sisters led by Modesty leaning against the wall, Shilu knew that she had underestimated Sumu's lower limit. Modesty extended her tongue to greet the hero, her arm resting on her chest, while her right index finger was still wildly seducing. This is clearly a blatant temptation for the brave. Is it really okay for Sumu to arrange for the Wind Dust Lady to do such a thing? He is a sage, isn't he? Hello. See, the driver is frantically pounding his elbow, feeling disgusted with poverty. F. Look to the right. Not only did they dislike poverty and love F, but the eyes of the pilots were also drawn away. The red and orange shimmer, the plump and enchanting girl, made them instantly understand what this place was. It's truly a different world. Surprisingly, there is such a custom. Gudu, the pilot swallowed his saliva and seriously asked, "I only care about how realistic this game can be. Can I hold an umbrella on rainy days?" Disgusting poverty and loving F are also repeatedly reviewing the game rules. Where can I check the Dumfries Imperial code? Although the team was still moving forward, C's gaze was fixed on the Red Candle area, his neck almost twisted 180 degrees. Sumu observed the situation in secret, and I am very satisfied with the reactions of drivers such as Si Zhao. It can be said that the effect is outstanding. I didn't give them a chance to take a few more glances. Sumu led the team to quickly reach the blacksmith shop. Although everyone arrived at the scene, the hearts of the three players seemed to have fallen out. Cough and cough, Sumu coughed lightly, trying to attract their attention while calling out Sid. Sid, the brave have arrived. I recommended your blacksmith shop to them. Upon hearing the call, Sid, dressed in colorful armor, stepped out with a step. The gemstones on the illusionary treasure armor flickered continuously in the sunlight, as dazzling as possible, extremely exaggerated. Kevin widened his eyes upon seeing this and said, "Isn't this the treasure of the town shop? He's willing to wear it." On the side, Shilu also lowered her head and supported her forehead. She could guess with her heel that it was definitely arranged by Sumu. As expected, the C-photo drivers were attracted by this treasure armor and threw out appraisal techniques one after another. Sleeping slot, epic level equipment, and each gem has enchanting properties. This armor is even cooler than a paladin's. The blacksmith is so wealthy, the newbie outfit he gave must be decent, right? Upon hearing the evaluations of the three brave warriors, Sid's mouth twitched slightly, and his heart stirred up more waves. Sleeping trough, there are actually three brave warriors. Isn't it true that only one hero can be summoned? Sage, are you so awesome? What, they still want to prostitute my illusion armor for free. After bypassing the myriad thoughts, Sid glanced at Sumu and spoke to the three brave warriors as agreed. Brave, the equipment I have provided for you is stored in that bucket. You can choose one and take it away. If you want better equipment, use the money to buy it. Sid has a tough attitude, but his expression is a bit stiff. Upon hearing these words, the driver walked towards the wooden barrel first and saw novice weapons such as an iron sword, wooden staff, and wooden bow inside. In addition, there are also some rough leather armor. Hey, this is too stingy, aren't we giving some benefits to beta players? Although he said that, the pilot of the plane had already drawn out an iron sword and looked up and down a few times before sighing. It's a bit heavy, but the details on this iron sword are so real. He could see the sharpening marks on the iron sword, and the cloth strip at the hilt was slightly loose, as if it could be easily undone with a gentle tug. The driver of the C-photo silently shrugged and said, "We're all in a different world, don't you want to try magic?" As he spoke, he picked up the wooden stick from the barrel. This is obviously a mage's weapon. Without waiting for F to choose, Sumu stepped forward and pulled out a wooden bow, reaching out his hand and handing it to him. This wooden bow is very suitable for you. Ah, this. Disgusted of poverty, AIF's hand, which wanted to hold the iron sword, froze in mid-air, and he couldn't help but sweat as he looked at the slightly worn wooden bow. Puff. Is it obvious that the wise man is putting small shoes on him? Who asked him to say that the name of the wise is not good? The driver and pilot of the plane wanted to laugh, but they were afraid that Sumu would lose his favor and be put on small shoes, so they tried to hold back. Feeling poor and loving F, seeing that he didn't seem to have any extra options, he had no choice but to take the wooden bow. At the same time, Sumu looked at the driver and said, "Are you sure you want to use a wooden stick? To be honest, you don't have the potential to learn magic, you are more suitable for using an iron sword." Upon hearing these words, the driver of the C-photo quickly put on a serious expression and said, "Thank you very much, sir. However, I have a dream of becoming a wizard in my heart. Please give me this opportunity." Okay, Sumu didn't insist either. Shit. Can I originally refuse? Regretting poverty and loving F even more. Of course, Sumu did not intentionally give him small shoes. Although the wooden bow is a bit worn out, it has an agility attribute of up to 7 points, making it a good candidate to become a ranger. On the other hand, when looking at the driver, his magical attribute is only 3. From an attribute perspective, he is more suitable to use an iron sword as a shield guard in the vanguard. After selecting the weapons, each person received a set of novice leather armor and clumsily put it on their body. During this period, the pilot of the plane was still roast. This game is so real that it is a bit troublesome. Wearing equipment should really be done by dressing. C nodded in agreement with the driver and F, but didn't dare to say more. They unconsciously realized the importance of favorability, fearing that trouble would come out of their mouths and reduce their favorability. Kevin just crossed his waist and turned his back towards the hero. He looked up at the sun and murmured, "This is the hero. A hero who even finds it difficult to wear equipment." To be honest, Kevin is becoming increasingly pessimistic about these three warriors. How can the burden of saving the human race be placed on their shoulders? Shilu also looked at Sumu and agreed more and more in her heart, indeed, the wise are right. Giving them the illusionary treasure armor is also a waste. These two sentences were very quiet, and the driver did not hear them, but they clearly reached Sumu's ears. However, Sumu didn't care in his heart. They still don't understand the players at all. Once the players start doing tasks, the terrifying execution power will definitely startle them. After the player puts on their equipment, Sumu continued to lead them to familiarize themselves with the town. This is the Adventurer Guild. After registering your identity, you can collect tasks and earn rewards here. After arriving at the guild castle, Sumu pushed the door in first. Three beautiful women dressed as maids are cleaning the lobby, while another beautiful woman at the counter looks at them with a smiling face. The pilot's eyes widened again and he said, "To be honest, I really like the character modeling in this game." "Wake up." The C-driver quickly spoke out, "Use appraisal techniques to see if this is a trap." After being reminded by the driver of the C photo, both the pilot and the suspect F used identification techniques. As expected, underneath the appearance of each kind maid, there are actually all female paladins. LV.24. LV.27. LV.21. Hiss, for them as LV.1, it's a fierce battle. It's so close. The pilot tried to imagine the maid putting on strong muscles and sighed, "But I love Kong Barbie too." The pilot clenched his fists tightly and almost shouted, "I am Yen Go." Sumu covered his eyes when he heard the sound. The maids in the guild also took a step back one after another, and the average favorability of the people in the room plummeted. Numb. Sumu felt that if he didn't complete the process, the name of the hero would be completely ruined by the three of them. There's still one last step left, register as an adventurer. The three drivers walked to the counter and pressed their fingerprints on the magic paper. Immediately after, the name, occupation, level, attributes, and skills are automatically displayed on the paper. Immediately, the magic paper turned into a bronze card, becoming a symbol of the adventurer's identity. Congratulations, you have successfully registered as a bronze adventurer. Sumu pointed to the task board on the right and said, "Wishing you all the best in improving your strength, advancing to become a high-level adventurer, being promoted to higher ranks, and successfully defeating the Demon King in the future." Upon hearing these words, the driver and others vaguely understood, the beginner guidance is over, and the next is their free time to play. "Hey!" Shilu on the side was stunned at the words and said, "Don't you need to sweep the dust for the brave ones?" According to tradition, the newly summoned warriors will have a meal at the mansion, experience the warm humanistic embrace of Dumfries, and then depart. So Sumu planned to send them to suppress the monsters. And these three brave warriors also listened too much to Sumu's words. They will do whatever Sumu arranges, just because Sumu is a sage. Take the wind and wash the dust. According to the driver, they didn't even hear these four words and directly surrounded the task board. Picking herbs, bronze. 1 copper coin per plant for regular herbs, with higher and rare herbs priced appropriately. Conquer the demon, bronze. Winter has passed, and the highly poisonous toads in the northern plain have revived. Please go and conquer them. Each highly poisonous toad costs 5 copper coins. Advanced Exploration Mission, White Iron. Explore the deployment of the Demon King Barracks in the southern jungle, high risk, reward 1 silver coin, and make 100 contributions. Advanced Investigation Task, White Iron. Investigate the types and quantities of monsters in the southern mining cave of the city, high.risk, reward 10 silver coins, and contribute 500 for recycling magic materials. You can bring back the corpse of the monster for guild slaughter, including slaughter fees, and the guild will recycle valuable parts of the monster. It doesn't seem difficult, why don't we take on all the tasks? C suggested to the driver, the three of us can work together to improve efficiency. AIF shook his head and said, let's forget about the advanced tasks. What if we fail? We don't have the money to resurrect. The pilot nodded, and both of them made sense. So he tore off the tasks of picking herbs and suppressing highly poisonous toads and patted them on the counter table. The three of us have taken on these 2 tasks. The other 2 people didn't object either, they just watched the pilot of the plane handle the procedures. Kevin widened his eyes and said, Sage, don't we have to stop it? How dare they go directly to punish the highly poisonous toad? That's the magic of LV.3, ordinary bronze level adventurers dare not rashly attack, they only pick herbs to earn money and buy equipment. Only with a certain level of equipment foundation can one dare to take on punitive missions. These 3 brave warriors are also too brave. Don't worry, they are brave warriors. It's a good thing that they can defeat monsters and improve their strength as soon as possible, isn't it? Sumu patted Kevin's shoulder and said, I'll go back to the mansion to pass the message to the Imperial capital first. Now that he has completed the task of summoning the brave, he also needs to report the current situation to the Emperor. Ding! There was a faint sound in Kevin's mind, as if he had realized something. I understand. Sage, you intentionally summoned these 3 intellectually disabled people. Ignorance or fearless, you had already guessed that they would be mindless monsters, right? Sure enough. Don't underestimate this wise man's castle. Seeing Kevin chasing Sumu away, Shilu also moved to follow. But when she left, she turned around and saw 3 brave warriors running towards the red candle zone again silent. After returning to the mansion, Sumu wrote a letter about the presence of monsters on the northern official road and the summoning of 3 brave warriors, and placed the letter on the circular magic formation of the study stone pillar. A burst of blue flames ignited, and the token disappeared from the magic circle, appearing in real time in the teleportation magic circle of the Imperial capital. After finishing these, summoning magic used by Sumu emits a prompt. The feedback mechanism has been initiated, experience gained. 0.03, strength, stamina, agility, and magic attributes are slowly increasing. They're going to hunt down a highly poisonous toad now. Sumu smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth and said, the action is quite fast. As a summoner, the player, once they engage in effective activities, whether it is the basic attributes that have been honed through combat, the experience points obtained from successfully killing monsters, we will feed back to Sumu at a rate of 1%. These are only 3 players, and as more players become available in the future, my experience and attributes will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Sumu took a deep breath, his upturned mouth completely out of control. The days are getting sweeter and sweeter. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Everyone has a bright future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Everyone has a bright future. Outside the city on the north side, the giant colorful toad, 3 meters high, bounced around everywhere. If hit by the tongue they spit out, they will also become paralyzed due to the venom. Hit multiple times, deeply poisoned individuals may even die from poisoning. But the 3 brave warriors were not afraid at all, because they have no idea about this intelligence. The pilot swung his iron sword and slashed fiercely. Far away, I find myself in poverty. I love to bow and shoot arrows at the edge of OB. Looking at the driver in photo C again, he tried to use magic multiple times, but after thinking about it, he realized that he didn't know how to spell. In the end, he could only charge up with a wooden stick and smash the hammer. He kept shouting in his mouth, 5 copper coins. 5 copper coins. 5 copper coins. Beautiful. Kill another one. The pilot excitedly looked at the attribute bar and said, according to this progress, we can level up by chopping 3 more toads. 3. Si Zhao, the driver, immediately asked, how quickly have you gained experience? I need at least 7 more. I also need about 3 more, said F, who was feeling poor and looked at the driver of the C photo. C cover, your DPS is not right, there is suspicion of phishing. Cha. Don't call me C shield. The driver looked at the wooden stick in his hand in frustration. You can't blame him for not being able to deal damage with such a broken wooden stick. At this pace, when will we be able to earn 50 silver coins? The pilot gritted his teeth and looked at the C-shaped driver. Brother, give me some strength. Before leaving the city, the 3 of them once went for a stroll around the Red Candle district. I have had in-depth communication with Modesty. After learning about the high price of 50 silver coins, the 3 of them immediately ignited their ambitions. Since there is a quotation, it means you will definitely be able to come. Not only that, but also, they also heard that high-ranking adventurers had been promoted to higher ranks, having official authority. Not only can you get a house in St. Mary's City, but you also have the opportunity to get a discount coupon in the Red Candle district. As long as they hunt down monsters, they can reap the rewards of money, power, and reputation. This kind of good thing can make them laugh in their dreams. Although there is a realistic style everywhere, living in a different world is too simple and rough, right? Being able to resurrect after death is tens of thousands of times better than real life. Of course, this was Su Mu's early prediction that they would detour back to the Hongzhou area. Previously, Modesty was arranged to share these pieces of information with them. On the north side of the city wall, Kevin nodded silently as he watched the heroic performances of the 3 brave warriors. The wise man is indeed right. These 3 intellectually disabled warriors are a fierce group. But what is the driving force behind their hard work? It's too fierce. When he was young, he had the ambition to train diligently in the military camp every day, but it was far behind them. Just as Kevin sighed for a few seconds, the C driver and his team hammered a highly toxic toad to death. There is no skill at all, it's all flat A. The main focus is on chaotic punches that kill the old master. I don't know when, Shilu also came to the city wall, stood beside Kevin, and looked at the brave warriors in the distance who were fighting against monsters. They can already suppress the highly poisonous toad. She was originally worried and came over to check the situation for Su Mu. As a result, I saw a stunning scene before me. This is already the 10th one, Kevin said seriously. Perhaps I should teach some combat skills to the warriors. Their clumsy chopping and chopping movements really caught Kevin's eye. When the 2 were discussing the issue of imparting combat skills, the pilot of the plane below suddenly froze. I upgraded. Get rid of the Edge OB's aversion to poverty and love F, and the pilot of the plane is the first to upgrade. The envious C.Photo driver quickly used appraisal techniques on him. This can be considered the only magic he has now. Name: Aircraft Pilot, Level LV.2, Occupation Adventurer, Power 10, Physical Strength 8, Magic 4, Agile 5, Mastered Skill Basic Magic Appraisal Technique, directly improving attributes. No free points. The driver quickly confirmed with him and received a positive affirmation. Perhaps it's because of using the iron sword, only the 2 attributes of strength and stamina have been improved. Faced with this result, the pilot of the plane was quite satisfied. He already wanted to take the warrior route, so physical strength and strength should be his main attributes. But the driver of the C.Photo was devastated. Is the attribute enhancement during the upgrade so real? I'll use a staff to smash and smash, won't it also increase my strength points? There are no free attribute points yet, so how should he enhance his magic? Disgusting poverty, Love F also noticed this and comforted, "See Shield, give up your mage dream. Gone." Si Zhao, the driver, collapsed. "This is a different world, and I have to become a wizard." For now, regardless of whether C is the driver or the poor, even if F is looking towards their own attributes. He is about to upgrade, should he run more and try to improve his agility attributes. This game not only gives players a realistic experience, but also has exquisite craftsmanship in the details. Guduaduo, during their conversation, all three of them made a sound from their stomachs. "I seem to be hungry." "Me too." This game also has a food function. I don't know how the food in the other world is. When it comes to eating, the three of them unconsciously drool. "The meat of this toad looks very moist, I don't know if it can be eaten. This is a monster. Eating monsters won't cause any problems, will it? Let's go back to the guild and hand in the task first, and also take the toad to the guild for recycling." But when the three of them looked at the piles of poisonous toads, they all fell silent. "How can I take this back?" Just as they were racking their brains, Kevin and Hilo walked from the city gate. From a distance, Kevin's rough voice sounded. "Brave, are you worried about moving monsters? It's NPC. Did we trigger the plot?" The C driver glared at Kevin and said, "What's his name?" "Captain Kevin." Thinking about this, the driver of C Photo took the initiative to greet Kevin and said, "Captain Kevin, you came just in time. Can you help us move the monsters?" This. Not only Kevin and Hilo, but also F and the pilot looked at him. "This is really good to say. You don't need to move it back," Shilu explained with a black line on her head. The highly toxic toad can only be recycled with saliva and magic crystals, and other parts have no recycling value. But be careful, its saliva is toxic. Saliva and magic crystals. The pilot turned his head to look at the highly poisonous toad and said, "Let me do it." The only capable dissecting tool among the three was the iron sword in his hand. Under Kevin's guidance, the pilot took out the magic crystal from the toad's body. Don't be fooled by the huge size of the highly poisonous toad, but the magic crystal is only the size of a lighter. "Is this magic crystal?" C took a closer look at the driver and then looked at the toad's body. "What about the rest?" "Roasted to eat." F, who dislikes poverty, suggested an idea. Upon hearing these words, the pilot of the plane, who had just finished his busy work, ran towards a small tree in the distance with a sword. With both hands wielding swords and swinging their arms, immediately make a hole in the trunk and cut off a piece of bark. The details of this game are too realistic. Not to mention being able to chop down trees, sawdust also flies randomly. It's not just the pilots who are roast, C, the driver, and F, who dislikes poverty, also ran over to watch. Everyone was amazed by the realism of this game. Since we can chop down trees, then we can build infrastructure. C glanced at the driver and seemed to have discovered a new gameplay. Do you think the way of making iron and steel in real life works well in games? Love F felt his chin as he pondered. As soon as this statement is made, the pilot of the plane and the driver of the C. Photo exchanged a glance. Everyone was covered in a chill. If we can forge iron to make steel, then we can definitely make gunpowder and firearms as well. If you could use a rifle to thrust across the northern plains, you could completely sweep away novice monsters. The three players were excited by their discovery. Kevin and Hilo stood on the side in a messy wind. What did the warriors just say? They want to roast highly poisonous toads to eat. Can monsters be eaten? You ask me, who do I ask? Magic always carries the word magic. As far as they know, it seems that no one dares to try it yet. Even poor ordinary adventurers will carry crude dry food to fight against the enemy, and even if they are hungry, they will only lie on the ground and gnaw on grass. After all, they all cherish their lives. When these three brave warriors were chopping monsters, each one became more and more divine. Why did they become so outrageous when they were idle? Kevin made a heartfelt roast. Then there was another loud noise, the big tree collapsed with a loud bang under the efforts of the pilot of the plane, then he saw him chop off the branches of the tree as firewood and build a campfire. Master. The pilot of the plane looked at the sea driver and said, "Could you please use fire magic to ignite him?" Cha. The driver of the sea photo turned his head in anger, only to see Kevin, the commander of the army, who had not yet left. "Captain Kevin, do you know fire magic?" Kevin pulled 3 black lines down his face, leaving him speechless. "He does know how to ignite magic, but using it to light a campfire is too cheap. Hear my call, the passionate spirit of fire, ignite it." Shilu sings magic and uses a fireball spell to light a campfire. "Miss Shilu, you're amazing. Little sister, can you teach me?" C looked at the driver with 2 bright eyes and said to Shilu, "Teach you?" Ziluodun felt lost in thought. "I just sang magic, you can just sing magic according to it." The sea driver was stunned again and said, "I also want to sing magic." Wait, it seems a bit shameful." Shilu closed her eyes and sighed, "As far as I know, only the wise can omit singing and directly cast spells." "That's right, Sumu can ignore singing and cast spells directly, but that's because he has the golden finger of C+ code. It is absolutely impossible to obtain a driver's license." "Okay, for my dream." The driver gritted his teeth and began singing magic. "Enthusiastic fire elf, listen to my call, ignite it." He shouted with great momentum, but no flames were released. Pup, the pilot of the plane and AIF tried their best to suppress their laughter, but there was inevitably a hint of wind coming from their mouths. The sea driver did indeed learn fireball skills, but due to insufficient magic, he was unable to successfully unleash it, and was so angry that he clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. On the contrary, Sumu, who was waiting for a letter from the Imperial capital, was stunned, because new news has emerged regarding the back-feeding system of summoning techniques. Successful enlightenment. Fireball technique sleeping in a slot. Sumu stood still and said, "Not only will their experience and attributes, but even the skills they have learned will be fed back to me. This is even more exciting. After the player's level increases, they can explore caves and dungeons everywhere and find various treasures from the treasure chest. There are also magic scrolls left by high-level adventurers after their death. As long as players learn these advanced skills, they can feed back to Sumu's hands, especially for the treasure chests left behind in high-level secret realms. There may even be lost ancient magic. After being adapted with C+ code by Sumu, he can definitely break through the sky and become a divine-level mage of the past and present. Players become stronger, Sumu can quickly become stronger, and everyone has a bright future." Just as Sumu was excited, the messenger formation in front of him shimmered with blue light. The reply from the Imperial capital appeared in the teleportation array, causing Sumu to be slightly stunned. Because on top of that letter, there is also an ancient magic scroll. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. New tasks sent by the Imperial capital. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. New tasks sent by the Imperial capital. The magic scroll of the church. Sumu can see the church logo on the cloth strip that ties the scroll tightly. In the world of Dumfries, divine power is higher than imperial power. The things taught here are not easy to obtain, let alone magic. Don't think too much. Sumu picked up the scroll and disassembled it to check. Holy light technique. By using this magic, the great goddess will descend a holy light and bless those who recognize it. Note: this magic can only be used on outstanding individuals who believe in gods. Sumu was quite surprised to see the content of the scroll. Surprisingly, it's the holy light of the church. Is this trying to lure me into the church? Sumu has long heard of this holy light technique. For example, Captain Kevin, if he wants to be promoted again from the position of military commander, you need to be blessed by holy light. After being recognized by the gods, he descended the holy light and advanced from the temple knight to the temple knight. To become a temple knight, one is qualified to join the holy knights of the church. Such an important magic should be handed over to Su Mu. So Su Mu opened the envelope on the teleportation array, extract the emperor's handwritten letter. Sage, this emperor has learned of your great achievements and personally invited the church to reward you. I heard that there are monsters appearing on the official road. I now order you to eliminate them within 10 days. Completing the task as scheduled, the Virgin will go to the city of Saint Mare to reinforce, and our emperor will also reward you with the magic core crystal, sleeping trough. The Virgin is still coming. Upon seeing the contents of the letter, Su Mu quickly wrote a cursive letter. Complete the task within 7 days, don't be a saint, send me some magic potions not too many times. A new note appears in the magic circle. Completed within 5 days, the Virgin adds 3 top potions. Hiss. Su Mu didn't believe it anymore and immediately wrote the second letter in cursive script. Complete the task within 3 days, no saints. No saints, are you joking? Now Su Mu is the leader of Saint Mare City. If we really want to send saints to rectify the church, it will result in a separation of divine and imperial powers. One mountain cannot accommodate 2 tigers, and the city of Saint Mare cannot accommodate a second messenger. Meanwhile, within the imperial capital, the emperor was also glared at by Su Mu's angry blowing of his beard. That's an order from the great priest of the church. What can I do? He and Su Mu are both aware that, the great priest is to have the Virgin take over the city of Saint Mare, approach the 3 brave warriors, and have them believe in the gods to join the church. But Su Mu is the beloved general of this emperor. During the crisis of the human race, Su Mu's ability to summon 3 brave warriors was a great achievement. The emperor did not want Su Mu to be restrained in handling affairs abroad. The divine emperor is even more unwilling for Su Mu to expand his influence outside, unless Su Mu joins the church and acts for the god emperor. Thinking about this, emperor's cursive reply, if you can overthrow the holy knights and the church, I will appoint you as the great sage of the country. Seeing this letter, Su Mu also knew that the emperor was in a hurry. We have to give up on this. Nowadays, the human race is weak, the divine authority of the church is no longer as stable as it used to be. If it weren't for the trump card of the holy knights, the emperor would probably have lifted him long ago. So the church is also determined to win over these 3 brave individuals, even distributing holy light as a reward to win over Su Mu. It is necessary to bring them into the church camp and consolidate their divine authority. But Su Mu, when he was in the imperial capital, he had many arguments with the emperor, not to mention respecting the elusive things of gods. Is it a saint? Su Mu pondered again. Before the saint arrives, let's consolidate my own position first. After speaking, Su Mu looked at the initial feedback letter from the emperor. Completing the task of eliminating official road monsters, the emperor will also reward him with a magic core secret crystal. That's a good thing. After the death of ordinary monsters, only magic crystals can be dissected. If you want to obtain the magic core secret crystal, at least kill 1 demon at the level of a demonic army cadre. The magic core secret crystal in the hands of the emperor is probably the only SS level material in all Dumfries. It is of great value. After Su Mu is proficient, he can make a staff, which is extremely helpful for improving his strength. And as long as the official roads are cleared, you can obtain the top magic potion master dispatched by the imperial capital and restart the magic potion shop. Everything is getting back on track, which can be considered a good thing. Just as Su Mu walked out of the mansion and into the courtyard, he saw the pilots of the plane poking their heads and looking around. Master Sage. Seeing Su Mu, Driver C quickly approached. Master Sage, this is a gift I have specially prepared for you. Besides him, the pilot of the plane and AIAIF, who were feeling poor, also approached and handed over fresh and juicy frog meat. In the distance, Hilu and Kevin stood there with stiff faces, constantly gesturing to Su Mu with their mouths. Highly toxic toad. That's a highly poisonous toad. Highly toxic toad. Su-mu identified the content through his mouth shape. Did you roast and eat the highly toxic toad? The sea driver and the airplane pilot nodded frequently. Sage, we have all tried it, it's very delicious. You must try it. That's right, Master Sage, this meat is too delicious. Sage, thank you for choosing the wooden bow for me. It's very convenient, I really like it. Since they have all taken the sea license for the driver, it must not be poisonous either. Su-mu took a bite of the frog meat, good guy. It's really as fresh, tender, and juicy as they said. Kevin, who was already messy in the wind in the distance, suddenly petrified, eating it, the sage actually ate it. Shilu also covered her mouth with a pale face, how could the wise master know, how could he, nauseous. On the other hand, the sea driver excitedly used appraisal techniques, check if Su-mu's favorability has improved. Then he spoke again, Sage, can you teach me some magic? The pilot of the plane and the poor love F quickly stepped forward. When I was just outside the city, they discovered many novel things through Kevin and Hilo's teaching of combat skills, as well as behaviors such as logging and cooking. For example, new professions such as lumberjacks, chefs, warriors, mages, and rangers, and there's no need to sing about the combat skills, as long as the corresponding action is taken, the skill can be released, but singing and using magic are extremely secondary illnesses. Listen to Shilu, only Su-mu, a wise man, can omit singing and casting spells, thinking of using appraisal techniques without singing, they came to Su-mu with frog meat to show their hospitality. No problem, Su-mu looked at the three of them and pondered, I also hope you can improve your strength. So Su-mu looked at the pilot of the plane and the poor and loving F, they have been promoted to level 2, assigned 2 spells, Mu Guang and Guang Arrow, respectively. When Su-mu looked at the driver in front of C, he frowned. C photo driver, are you sure you want to become a wizard? C nodded at the driver like pounding garlic. However, he only has 3 magic points, which translates to 30 magic points. I can't use appraisal techniques too many times, what magic can I learn? Su-mu pondered and immediately bestowed upon him the magic of Twilight. Mu Guang. Slowly restores physical fitness within 60 seconds, Light Arrow. Transforming magic into arrows, the higher the magic consumed, the higher the damage of Light Arrow, Low Light. Basic lighting magic, there's no way, this is the only basic magic that Su-mu can think of. However, despite this, the driver was also overjoyed, I really learned magic. Lie down, just shout a faint light. You don't have to sing those lines about the second illness. The pilot of the plane and F, who disliked poverty, also grinned, mine is restoration magic. It's more reassuring to carry it in the front row in the future. My one is a magical light arrow, as long as I pull the bow string, it can turn into an arrow, which is also spicy. Learn new magic, the 3 of them left the courtyard bouncing and jumping, hurry up and go outside the northern city to find the highly poisonous toad to test your magic. Wait for 3 players to leave, Su-mu walked towards Kevin and Hilo, who were frozen in place, Captain Kevin, go prepare yourself. I need to summon another group of warriors the day after tomorrow. What? Kevin and Hilo shouted in unison. Sage, you can still summon warriors. The situation was so outrageous that even Captain Kevin used you to refer to Su-mu, who stipulates that only one hero can be summoned. Su-mu was puzzled and looked at Shilu at the same time. Remember to bring me a magic potion, it should be used this time. Shilu still has 13 bottles of magical potions in her hand, and Su-mu has not forgotten. Upon hearing this, Shilu stood on the side, supporting her forehead, do wise men need to be so fierce? Surprisingly, they still need to summon the hero for a second time. The last time summoning 3 warriors, none of them used magic potions, how many brave warriors need to be summoned to use it this time? Additionally, Su-mu looked at Kevin and ordered, Captain Kevin, I don't need to report the summoning of the brave to the Imperial capital this time. When the Imperial capital sends a saint over, they will know. The Virgin is coming. Kevin understood the words and understood them. As for the matter of having the sages and saints form the strongest brave team together, Kevin had long forgotten about it. Now Sumu summons 3 brave warriors, and even needs to perform a second summon. Then form a damn brave team, just hold Sumu. Approaching evening, C, the driver, and others return to the guild with magical materials and herbs, submit the task and have a full meal before checking into the hotel. After learning about the high price of 3 copper coins for one night's stay, the 3 of them only opened one room. After entering the room and lying flat, hastily go offline. After going offline, Li Xian woke up on the bed in the room. The time flow inside and outside the game is the same, and at this point, the sun has set outside the window, and the room is particularly dim. Before waiting to get up and turn on the lights, Li Xian picked up his phone and entered the old driver communication group. See driver. Brothers, Dumfries is far beyond our imagination. Undercover driving. The Vanguard has finally returned. Hurry up and tell me more. Lemon Emperor. I beg for dog management, but don't act anymore. Can we be more practical? How about sending a car? See photo driver. Picture, Li Xian spoke in the group and suddenly several diving parties exploded. Aircraft pilot. See hood, aren't you really hungry? I quickly ordered another takeout. Disgusted of poverty and loving F, I ordered one too. Driver C, didn't we just go offline after dinner? Gone. As you said, I'm also hungry. Airplane pilot. What's the real deal with the food we eat in the game? Don't just play around, kid. Undercover driving. Is it really that real? You guys are a bit outrageous. No, it's not. Is this game so realistic? Can you still confuse games with reality? The diving party peeking at the screen was caught off guard, and as a result, the driver threw a heavy bomb. C driver said, there is still a red candle area on the street, and 50 silver coins are fair to both the old and the young. However, we only earned 3 silver coins today. Based on this progress, it will take a month to have in-depth communication. This is an old driver communication group. What else can attract them more than the red candle area? As soon as these words are spoken, diving parties are emerging one after another. Don't forget. Is there a gold channel? Hurry up and get some money. Undercover driving. Cha, there are only 3 internal testing spots available now. Can you give me some help? Lemon Emperor. Where are the screenshots? Where are the screen recordings? No pictures, no words. Seeing this situation, Li Xian also choked suddenly. This game is so realistic that there is no screenshot function at all. Where can I find a camera for you in a different world? Aircraft pilot. At 2A, President, are you there? How about taking screenshots and recording the screen? Also, quickly open a money channel. As early as possible, when we go to the red candle area, they can also record in advance. Su Mu is currently editing the official website. Suddenly just leave a response in the group. 2A, this game does not have a cryptocurrency channel and upholds an always real-world environment. I will not interfere with any materials in the game, but I can provide you with intelligence and update it in real time on the official website. If you have any questions, please answer them on the official forum. That's right, the intelligence referred to here is the content that Su Mu is currently compiling. Upon seeing this news, all the viewers in the group rushed to the official website. As soon as I clicked on the web page, I saw the latest official announcement. The game stability test has been completed, and the second batch of 50 qualified players for internal testing is now open. After gathering 50 new players, VR devices will be distributed for free. Currently, 13 players have been reserved. Upon seeing this message, the current number of reserved players has surged to 37. Subsequently, everyone was drawn away by the official guide below. Game developers provide the simplest and most effective super strategy to all players. Click on this guide. The title is transformed into a simple and bold line of large characters. Believe me. The wise Sumu, also known as Socrates the Shepherd, is the best NPC of Dumfries. End of this chapter. How to consolidate status in Chapter 10. Just brag about yourself. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How to consolidate status in Chapter 10. Just brag about yourself. Isn't the Virgin coming to preach? Then come on. In the eyes of players, is the creator of the world of Dumfries, namely. Game creator. As long as Sumu elevates his own value from the perspective of, he is afraid that they will not flock to him. In that strategy article, Sumu wrote. Sumu. The last sage in the world of Dumfries. He can summon players to a different world and resurrect dead players. He will also understand the players' thoughts to a certain extent and provide them with applicable magic. He is the only steadfast player friend among Dumfries. Note. All NPCs in this world have corresponding personalities and factions. At some point, players and NPCs may have conflicts of interest and stand on the opposite side of players. However, the wise Sumu will always be a good teacher and friend of players. If the sage Sumu dies in battle, the world of Dumfries will be destroyed, and the game will be completely deleted and disappear. Special statement. Do not let the wise have a negative impression of you, otherwise you will not be able to resurrect in the world of Dumfries and will be difficult to support alone. Summary. In a simple sentence, become a loyal fan of the sage Sumu. There will be benefits for you. Sumu directly pointed out that, for players, he is the most important character of Dumfries. Even after his death, this game will completely disappear. As for other game manufacturers on Earth, will they enter the world of Dumfries to assassinate him in order to have this game deleted? Sumu is completely not worried. After all, as a summoner, players cannot cause damage to them at all. At the end of the article, Li Xian also commented below. See photo driver. That's right. The sage is more careful than other NPCs, he has tailored the twilight magic for me. Aircraft pilot. What does deleting a file after the death of a sage mean? Restarting the server after deleting a file. Reply to the pilot. Just delete the game. Do you think building a fully intelligent AI is so easy? If Sumu dies, this game will disappear. Disliking poverty and loving sleeping trough, then we need to protect the wise adults. Excluding this article, the content of other columns is also automatically improved. For example, in the job details, there are also new professions discovered by photo drivers. And these professions do not conflict with each other. You can become a chef who can chop trees, and you can also cultivate dual combat skills, fully satisfying all kinds of gameplay for players. There are also some names, occupations, and related information of the main NPCs. There are also special annotations below. NPC has intelligent singularity and fully autonomous personality intelligence. It disappears completely after death and will never be resurrected. Players are advised to pay attention. Killing the favor NPC of the wise Sumu will reduce his favor towards you. After reading the updated content on the official website, others began to roast. Don't forget. After reading for a while, the intelligence in Hongzhou district is the highest, indicating that the advance army is very sensible. Undercover driving. I also marked the source of intelligence behind this, which is a ruthless move. I also want to put my ID on the official website. Sponge. Hurry up and distribute the second wave of internal testing quotas. Tianqi. If there are less than 50 reserve new players, will the distribution of slots be suspended? Everyone, hurry up and promote it, gather enough slots, and then praise be. On the other side, the driver strolled through the official website and finished eating takeout, thinking of going to bed at night anyway, why not go to the game again? So he threw the takeout box into the trash can, flipped over, and lay down on the bed. Wear wooden glasses, shout out, Dumfries. Consciousness reconnects to another world, and the operator sits up on the bed. Sleeping in the trough. The driver of the C photo who sat up was immediately taken aback. Did Doot run away? The pilot of the plane who should have been lying next to him, as well as the poor and loving F, were all absent. It's obvious that they all want to sneak in and work hard under the cover of the night. Gone, even if you play a game, you won't win. See, according to the driver's roast, so he quickly ran out of the room to find Sumu. As soon as I walked downstairs, I saw the pilot of the plane and AIF hesitating at the hotel entrance. Okay, you guys don't even call me when you go online. Si Zhao shouted at the driver. He saw the two of them turning their heads and smiling at him, aren't you here too? At the same time, the pilot couldn't wait to urge, hurry up, give a faint light. At this moment, the driver of the C photo realized that they were not intentionally waiting for him, but the world of Dumfries has entered darkness, there is no shimmer magic, they are inconvenient to move in the dark. Gone, why are you so stingy that you can't even afford to buy a torch? A torch costs 2 copper coins, and the hotel can provide it. But each of them has a silver coin, no one is willing to spend money, I understand everything I know. The driver uses low light magic to illuminate. Immediately, the three of them walked towards the sage mansion without prior agreement. Since Su Mu is the most important NPC of Dumfries, then they definitely need to move around more, try to create more positive impressions. The sage mansion, Su Mu is enchanting wooden glasses in the room, just listening to the announcement from Hilu outside the door, Sage, the 3 brave men want to see you and say they want to greet you. Hello, please. 3 black lines appeared above Su Mu's head, can they all come up with such a terrible reason? Anyway, the words written on the official website do have an effect, Su Mu muttered. After putting away the wooden glasses all over the table, she responded to Hilo, let them in. Immediately after seeing the door open, the C driver looked around curiously. Oh my goodness, is the interior of the house also so realistic? The pilot of the plane took the first step into the room and immediately exclaimed, to be honest, does this game really have an air wall? Seeing him enter the house, the drivers who dislike poverty and love F and C also follow closely behind. Without waiting for Su Mu to ask, respected sage, I have come to greet you, said the driver of the C photo, taking the lead. Not only did he speak with great respect, but he even bowed. It's foolish to show Shilu who is following the 3 of them. So, is that what you mean by, please be safe? They are brave. It's the last hope to save Dumfries. The status of the brave here is even higher than that of the wise. Gudu, Shilu stared and swallowed her saliva, her heart already full of criticism. Is my wise master so awesome? Why did even the brave come here to do this? Greetings only Su Mu knows, this is the consequence of him posting his strategy on the official website, but he doesn't need this kind of greeting. Braves, if you have this kind of time, I hope you can improve your strength even more. Hiss, Shilu couldn't bear to look straight at the words, isn't this a hot face sticking to a cold butt? Do the wise not give them any face? As a result, the driver of the C photo decisively agreed, what the sage said is true. We are about to burn the midnight oil, and this time we also want to ask the wise man, is there anything we need? Yes, Su Mu raised his eyebrows. If possible, we can clean up the highly poisonous toads in the northern plain. I can give you an additional 5 silver coins and each person will contribute 100 points. Lying trough. Triggered a special mission. The driver was overjoyed and said, Master Sage, let's leave this task to us. An additional 5 silver coins for free prostitution. 1 step closer to the red candle area as a guest. Okay, very energetic. Sumu nodded satisfied and immediately released the holy light spell to the driver of the sea photo. The church says that this magic can only be used by outstanding individuals who believe in gods, but Sumu doesn't care what the church does, he can use it for whoever he likes. Under the holy light, the driver received prompt immediately. You have been blessed by the god of war, and your melee abilities have been significantly improved. Status. God of War favors LV.1, duration. Permanent, sleeping trough, I have been strengthened. The driver of the sea photo widened his eyes and said, thank you, sage. However, why is it the favor of the god of war? I am a mage. Has he been strengthened? The pilots of the plane and the poor love F all throughout appraisal techniques, suddenly envious, they all looked at Sumu with eager eyes. Not being favored by the Dharma god only indicates that you have no magical talent. Sumu gave the driver a cold glance, then he looked at the two pilots and said, if you make contributions in the future, I will also release the holy light spell for you. So this magic is called holy light. Unfortunately, Sumu doesn't know how to sing magic, otherwise they would really want to steal it. However, the pilot of the plane still respectfully responded, yes, serving the wise has left me completely confused. Disliking poverty and loving F also follows suit. Please wait for the good news, wise man. The poisonous toad outside the city will not survive tonight. After speaking, the three of them ran out of the mansion crowded with people. In the distance, there were 3 people making noise. See shield, you've been reinforced. You'll be in front of me later, and I'll give you more health. The pilot of the plane came up with a new idea. The driver glared at the words and said, are you speaking human language? Seeing 3 brave warriors leave, Shilu's hanging heart finally let go. This brave man is clearly here to lick his own wise master. And no matter what the wise men say, they will not get angry. That's absolutely amazing. How charming is your wise master? Shilu nodded and pondered, indeed, he is quite handsome. Sumu, who was being watched by Shilu, was lost in thought, not for others, just because the words, God of War favors LV.1 also appear in his status bar. Can all the blessings of the gods make me pay for free? When there are more players, won't all the blessings of the gods make me gather together? This feedback mechanism is becoming increasingly outrageous. Hearing Sumu muttering to himself, Shilu also nodded along. Well, the wise and handsome are truly handsome. But occasionally talking to oneself in incomprehensible words has become increasingly outrageous lately. At this moment, Kevin walked into the room with a ghostly expression on his face. Those 3 brave warriors are starting to go crazy again, he murmured in his mouth after seeing Sumu. Kevin pointed to the direction where the hero had left and reported it. What else did they say? You've been strengthened, send it away. This year's Braves even asked their teammates to sacrifice their lives. How can this be done? Sumu just smiled and shook his head at this. By the way, Kevin changed his face and said solemnly, a campfire was lit up in the jungles south of the city. It seems to be the camp of the Demon King army. Sumu raised his eyebrows at the words, the demon army has also begun to take action. This should be the demon army inviting the emperor into the urn, but it also indicates that they are planning to attack the city soon. Kevin looked at Sumu and wanted him to have an idea. But seeing Sumu shrug and wave his hand, don't worry about them, I still have to prepare for the second summoning ceremony. Ah! Are you still thinking of summoning the brave at this time? Kevin stared anxiously at the words and said, if the Demon King army really hits us, these brave warriors won't be able to handle it. We should take the lead and find a way to create a gap to weaken the strength of the Demon King army. He admitted, those 3 foolish and lacking warriors are fierce thieves when they fight against monsters. Upgrading speed is still fast. But 2 fists are difficult to defeat 4 hands. What role can they play in the face of the demon army's attack on the wave of monsters? Faced with the anxious Captain Kevin, Sumu remained unmoved. How many brave warriors are not capable, what about 50.3? Within 3 days, Sumu plans to, 53 brave warriors thoroughly cleared the northern plains. After opening the official road, they continued their swordsmanship in the jungle. Even if the demon army doesn't attack the city, they should still go out. End of this chapter.